here. His dad, 8 years ago, was the first 450 buyer also. So they were the first 10 people who had bought the original 450. Can we just have the camera on Abhinav and Shankar here? Yeah. I don't know if it's covering, but Abhinav and Shankar here, they look as they look here. So this is Abhinav's Rizta. So I just want to keep it on stage as we talk through what is the upgrade that we are doing on this vehicle. Um, Before that, a quick step back in a little bit of our history. Ather had always invested a lot in software. We're the first ones to do displays, first ones to do OTAs, first ones to do Google Map integration, a lot of that stuff. However, when time came to launch Rizta as a more mass market family scooter, the one feedback that lot of the studies gave us is that, come on, ultimately you're building a scooter for masses. They don't need all this software. The software is good, it's nice, it's often useful, but I think tempered on your expectation. Software is not going to be a very important thing while building your more mass premium family scooter like this. We took the advice, it kind of made sense. Also, another piece of advice was that simplify your product, right? Things like all these experiences are very complex. Now, the reality has been the full opposite of it. Since we launched Rista last year, our average software usage has skyrocketed, and that's across our fleet. Trip planner usage has gone up 23%. Bluetooth usage is up 42%. Live location, after the first month or two of introduction, usage is up almost 63%. It is surprising because we expected average usage to come down as we introduce a more mass market, as a more family-friendly, family-first scooter. If every member of the family is going to use it, they're just going to turn the key on, go from point A to point B, and not bother else. In fact, it gets even more confusing because when you compare the usage of software on Rista versus the 450, Rista comes out tops. Rista owners are using Ping My Scooter 12% more than 450 owners. Live location sharing 14% more. Mobile app is 52% more usage. And this is when 450 owners were already using the mobile app a lot. We are comparing 40, 50 percentage WAU compared to like almost 60, 70, 80% WAU for Rista owners. This was shocking for us, frankly. We did not expected this. We expected the complete opposite of it. And this made us re-question one of the decisions we took when we launched Rista originally. I'm sure you guys see where I'm landing up. We had knocked off touch on the handlebar. It saved us some money. It we assumed would simplify the experience, and if you're not going to use the software anyways, then why bother with it? But if people are going to use these features so much, if then honestly not having touch is truly getting in the way of you enjoying a great experience, which is why today, starting today, we are announcing all Rista Zs will now ship with touch enabled. So all new Rista Zs that you will buy will have touch on them. So the gap between 450 and Rista merges even more, and for very good reasons. Now, I did see some hands when I asked if there are Rista owners in the audience, and I am sure a lot of you are Rista Z owners. Can I see a hand again? Oh, yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah, cool. Okay. So I know you're not feeling amazing. So first, I do want to acknowledge all of you. It's love of our community and buyers like yourselves that have really helped Rista become a mass market, a mainstream brand so quickly. So when we are going to turn on touch for new buyers, we wanted to figure out what is it that we can still do for our existing owners. We've got to do something special for them. We debated a lot. It started from something as simple as new colors dal dete, to new themes, to new, like maybe something as complex as let's redo the UX completely for our Arista Z owners. And finally, we settled on something very fun. With the power of an OTA update, today we are going to push out an upgrade to how you interact with your Arista Z almost overnight. So this OTA will change your experience and your engagement with the vehicle quite dramatically. Let's just see what it is.
ये गाइस इन्होंने कैसे किया, मतलब टच तो था नहीं इसमें, देखना पड़ेगा.
Possibly happening for the first time in the industry in a massive, massive win for backward compatibility. Same scooter, existing Rizta Z's, same hardware, entirely new experience. Via an over-the-air upgrade, we are going to be upgrading all your existing Rizta Z's to touch as an experience overnight. Right? That's the announcement for today. And if you're imagining this, we'll see when this promise bears out how this entire experience comes through. Enabling touch has got to be very complicated. Let's go back to this very special Rista all over again. Let's see what we can do with this product already. We've got the live feed here. Awesome. This is Shankar's first Rista Z from Bangalore. The ODA that I talked about, already shipped out here, is already installed. And as you can see, touch already works. Right? What that means is, and for those of you who've come here and own a Rista Z and you've shared the right details with us, you'll be the first ones to get the OTA today. So call up your families back home. Over the next 12 hours, we will be pushing out the OTA. In fact, that's happening right now as we speak. OTAs are already rolling out. Sorry, yeah, OTA is already rolling out. So all of you will get it first. Check with your family later in the day. Touch would already be enabled by Max tomorrow morning on most of your vehicles. And all Arista Z owners across the country will get it over the course of the next few weeks. Yeah. That's it. That's all the updates on Rista. Moving forward, let's go to, thanks. Yeah, I'll let the team queue in the next presentation. Thank you. So let's move on to the next thing we've been building for a long time, which is our charging infrastructure. It has been one of the most dedicated companies as far as charging is concerned. We've always we've always given it a lot of attention, which is why from the first day we we started selling vehicles in Bangalore. Even before that, we set up our first charging points here in Bangalore. Oh yeah, sorry, that's a good cue. So I'm supposed to put this vehicle on charge for the next reveal. Can we have the charger rotate through? We've been one of those brands which has been very focused on fast chargers right from day one. Anytime we go to a city, our fast chargers come first, even before we start sales, which is why starting from a first fast charger in Bengaluru, today as our store count has roughly doubled, so has our count of fast chargers across the country. Today, there are more than 4,000 Lex-enabled fast chargers across the country overall. And this density of fast chargers today ensures that in a place like Bengaluru, you're almost never more than 10 minutes away from the nearest fast charger. These are actual locations, by the way. I'm not sure which part of town this is, but you're never more than 10 minutes away from the nearest fast charger. Those two things have been, like this has been a very important metric for us. 10 minutes, we've got to solve charging anxiety for you. We've already cracked that in Bangalore. That's our ambition now for almost all large cities. And it's not just within the cities driving that we are really solving for. we are also giving a lot of attention to intercity riding. I just want to use today to tell all of you how comfortable it has gotten on an Ather to ride between cities. Let's take some of the intercity routes that are most frequented by Ather owners, starting with Bengaluru and Mysuru. If you're traveling between these two towns, if you're traveling between these two towns, you will notice it's not like one or two chargers here and there. The entire route is just dotted with fast chargers across. There is no chance you will be stranded. There's no chance you will have anxiety doing this route. Not just Bengaluru to Mysuru. Let's look at Chennai to Pondi. Amazing, once again, amazing coverage across the route. Or Mumbai to Pune, all routes covered really well. There are dozens of such intercity routes that we have now targeted in the recent years, and we have ensured whether it is Nagpur to Wardha or Delhi to Meerut or Dhar to Indore, so on and forth, they're all covered really well. And this has led to our owners now getting the confidence uh, to travel between cities without worrying about range, without worrying about charge. On these cities, on these routes last year, our owners rode 72,000 rides, traveling cumulatively almost 26 lakh kilometers. But the biggest proof that people have confidence and trust in our fast chargers really comes from the fact that there are 13,000 owners who almost exclusively today rely on an Ather fast charger for almost all of their charging needs. 80% of the daily 80% of their charging happens on an Ather's fast charging network. So while honestly, even we did not imagine this while we built it, we pretty much pitched this as an emergency stop. Today, an expanding density of fast chargers has really taken this to very different level for a lot of happy Ather owners. Um, We've done a lot again for charging overall in the industry. We took the original Ather charging connector, we open sourced it, called it Light Electric Combined Charging System, LEX, which for the first time in India. So this is one of those. This might literally be might be the first indigenously developed charging standard, which today has been adopted by BIS and is India's first national standard. And it's not just us who's using it, because we've now open sourced the tech and we've really tried to bring the industry together. Today, it's not just an Ather fast charger that you can really charge your Ather on. Along with us, there are multiple other brands that have come on board, and hence there are multiple other chargers, and there's cross compatibility between those vehicles. So your charging infrastructure itself has expanded quite a lot. There are several OEMs. There are fantastic brands here, battery manufacturers, charge point operators, who have all come together. And this is, people keep asking, why is charging not being standardized? Well, in this case, it is. This is the first attempt, and a reasonably successful attempt already, at seeing charging infrastructure and charging standards go mainstream. So now we've done a lot, obviously. We've added chargers, we've fixed density, we have great intra-city situation, we have a great intercity coverage already. What more can we do? What's the next leap for us? Well, the next leap really is on product. Let me just cue that in. You know you're with owners when this gets the most applause. Our fastest fast charger yet, a day's worth of range, and that's a promise, a day's worth of range in just 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 10 minutes to get to 10 minutes to get to 30 kilometers of charge, and that's 30 kilometers of true range, not even the ARI certified range. 30 kilometers of true range in just 10 minutes. That's our latest generation charger for you. Now, the ambition with this, honestly, so we've obviously taken the fast charging route. We've taken that bet in a big way. And our ambition here has been to really eliminate any practical difference in your minds about going to a petrol station and charging an EV. charging an EV should not be a 6, 8, 9 hour operation. It should be a very quick job that you can literally wrap up in 10, 15 minutes and continue on with your life. Literally almost the same time as it would take refueling at a petrol station. Which brings us to what happens when you don't go to a petrol station. We talked about this a lot in the past. When you don't go to a petrol station, one obvious challenge that we all have as EV owners is that we almost never remember to refuel our tires. And that is not a big technology leap, but it's one of the most practical implementations that we figured out how to do. We've integrated a tire pressure system, an inflator, right in the new generation charger itself. So you just go to the fast charger, and you can just pull the cord and inflate your tires at the fast charger itself. Something you wouldn't remember otherwise to do, now you will, because you use these chargers anyways enough to begin with. Okay, that's not all. We have a couple of more announcements on charging, and this one might be a good solution or a crowd favorite, hopefully. So a few years ago, we ran into a little bit of a tight situation. We had happily gotten on a lot of owners, but our fast charging infrastructure had not kept pace. We did not have enough fast chargers. And it was very common in Pune, in Bangalore, in Chennai, to see actual physical fights break out between people attempting to charge at these charging stations, at Ather grids. It was not a happy sight, and after a couple of really nasty incidents, we decided to do something about it. First, we introduced monetization as a way of just keeping people a bit more disciplined. But the other thing that we did, which people never liked us for, is we introduced an 80% cap on what you can charge your vehicle to. So your vehicle would automatically cut off at 80%, and you could not charge beyond that. But obviously, over the years, people have kept asking us that please remove that limit because it gets in the way, especially if you're driving between long routes. And today, with an expanding density of fast chargers, we can. So we are solving for that, introducing a smart slider. On your mobile app, you can choose 80% is default, but you can choose to go all the way up to 100% charge on your Ather grid now through your mobile app. This is how I think the experience looks like. 1 second. Yeah, this is how the experience will look like on the mobile app. Yeah. And I think with that, we are done with the charging announcements. Now let's see where this vehicle is at. So we put it up on charge. How many minutes have gone, man?
7, 8 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so we put this vehicle up at 15 kilometers about 8 minutes ago. And as you can see right now, we are at about 45 kilometers. We've added roughly about 30 kilometers in the last 8 or maybe 9 minutes now. Right? So I'm sure you trust us that our charger will work. But we just figured we'll do a little bit of drama and show you that the charger already truly works. These fast chargers, thank you, Akshay. These fast chargers are already getting commissioned as we speak. And over the course of the next few months, this will become the primary charger that we will be installing across the country. Yeah. You'll also be able to, by the way, maybe I missed that slide, but you'll also be able to find on the mobile app where the fast chargers are as compared to a regular charger. So fast charger and faster charger, I guess, and which one of those fast chargers also have an inflator built into them. Okay, next, let's go to the next feature that we're announcing, which is actually not a big surprise because we sort of already announced it, which is Cruise. Now, the story of Cruise really is, like we've already announced it. We've already announced that the latest generation Apex will get Cruise. But the story isn't how we made it. We made it in classic Ather style. And before we explain how a feature works, a little bit of a step back into how we've approached this entire experience. When you're riding, there are 3 primary inputs that you're dealing with all the time: the brake, the throttle, and balancing the vehicle. If you want to build great experiences for you, at the core of it, it is a story of reducing the amount of inputs that you have to deal with, which is exactly what we've been doing over the years with experiences like Magic Twist. All these experiences, we've been taking a stab at reducing these 3 inputs, particularly brakes. With Magic Twist, we gave, as we said, your brakes a brake. Vehicles stop automatically on slopes. You don't have to keep your brakes jammed. With, sorry, that was auto hold. With Magic Twist, we integrated your brake in your throttle itself. So you don't even need to actually use the physical brakes in most situations. You can just use a singular input, which is the throttle, and bring your vehicle down to 0. And with traction control that we introduced last year, we added something that simplified your throttle input. Instead of you worrying about managing your throttle in a very complicated way over uneven surfaces, traction control's beautiful algorithm took all of that care on its own. So we built all of this to reduce inputs. These inputs, these experiences help you think less, manage lesser, and ride better, which brings us to cruise control. Cruise control is a feature that was invented all the way back into 1950s. Back then, it was just a simple slider, just a governor to control your speed. Nothing very complicated. All of there was maintain speed. The feature was launched. Very quickly, people realized, well, the same feature can also work on hill ascent. So if you're going up slopes, cruise control will work perfectly fine there also. However, hill descent, coming down slopes, took a much longer time to figure out because you needed electrical brakes to implement this feature. After the invention of electrical brakes in cars, hill descent became the third feature in this suite, culminating in the final one, which happened more recently, which is crawl control, which is low speed off-roading, where we bring in 3 different technologies of cruise control, electronic brakes, and traction control together to build a complete experience, which is called crawl control. These are honestly 3 completely different features with completely different hardwares, which is why in modern cars, they are also sold as 3 different features there. They're literally 3 different buttons to run these 3 different features. Motorbikes, some time ago, started to replicate cruise control from cars into two-wheelers. Unfortunately, this was a really bad implementation in from our perspective, because it literally just copied what would happen in a car on a two-wheeler. And that's not a very smart idea, because cars with cruise were designed to ride on this, while two-wheelers almost everywhere are ridden here. This is not a cruise-friendly situation, not with the way cruise is designed today. And I'm guessing most of you have probably not ridden enough on cruise. I had not until we started building this feature. My car also had a cruise control and I never used it. I hated it so much. And the reason is, while driving in city traffic, cruise is extremely painful to use. What will happen is, you will turn on cruise, but and you can change speed using the plus minus button. But the minute you press brake, cruise will kick you out. That's how cruise system is designed. It will not let you stay in. In fact, even if you press the accelerator, even if you throttle the vehicle, cruise will kick you out. What that means is you will just keep getting kicked out of cruise every time, every single time you tap the brake or you touch the throttle. This is not a very smart implementation, but unfortunately, this is the legacy of how cars were designed in maybe US back in the 50s and 60s. In fact, this problem continues with how the speeds at which cruise operates. So the original cruise systems were designed to maximize your efficiency, which meant that the designers thought that, hey, listen, you're going to go on a highway, max gear, top gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, and cruise will only work on that gear. We don't want you to change gears while driving. But that meant the minimum speed for cruise was set at 40 kilometers per hour. And as insane it is, most two-wheelers just adopted that minimum speed criteria. But 40 is a useless speed because most of the driving of a two-wheeler in our cities is all sub 40. In fact, it's mostly sub 30. So if your cruise cuts off every time you go below 40, you will have a really bad experience. You will just keep toggling between cruise on and off all the time. And we made a really sharp video to land the point about how insane it is to try and use cruise on a two-wheeler today. You're driving your motorcycle. This is an expensive motorcycle. This has cruise on it. Cruise on. Brakes, cruise off. Cruise on again. Brakes, cruise off. Cruise on again. Throttle a little bit. And cruise off again. On and off and on and off and on and off. I think you guys get the point. It's been 75 years now since cruise was invented. And nobody's really tried to fix it, particularly for a two-wheeler. That's what we wanted to redo. We didn't want to just launch cruise. We wanted to rethink the experience completely. Introducing our implementation of cruise the first feature set, which we call City Cruise. And let me just show you a video because it's very, very hard to explain how this thing works. So let me just show you a video for you to see how cruise will work. In a typical cruise, you will be pressing that button all the time to get in and out of cruise, to set speed, all of that. On an Ather Apex now, you press the button once. This is where your cruise button will be. You will press it only once. You will not need to toggle it ever again. Press once. You're now in the cruise mode. Now it does not matter. You can accelerate. You can pick up speed. You're at 40. You will keep cruising at 40 comfortably. Cruise is on at this point. Let's say you need to slow down. You press the brakes. Cruise will pause until you get to your desired speed. It will not kick you out. You will not need to press the cruise button again. Cruise will pick up from wherever you've left it. So at the new speed of 20, cruise will just resume. No button presses required. In fact, even if you were to jam down the brakes and bring the vehicle to a complete stop, let's say you bring it down all the way down to 0 to stop on a traffic junction, cruise won't brake. Obviously, the vehicle will stop. You don't need to worry. Cruise is still there in the background. You can start picking up pace once again. Throttle, accelerate, no issues. Pick up speed, get to your desired speed, leave the throttle, cruise takes over again. Right? So the experience that we've designed for you here is... Thank you. Yeah, for those who didn't realize, this is our attempt at our magical experience of the year. Cruise is that one. So I really hope all of you try it later on when you go outside. But obviously, it doesn't stop here. We didn't just do one thing. We've done a lot of things on cruise. So the big thing here is cruise at all speeds, works flawlessly. You will only press the button once when you start your ride, not after that ever again. It'll work flawlessly. It'll work brilliantly even on hills. So coming down mountain roads on a regular two-wheeler with cruise on it, it's a little difficult because intuitively, I think this is going up, yes. You will set in cruise, but the minute you throttle up to go up the hill, cruise will kick you off, right? Same problem happens when you're going down the mountain road. Because there are no electronic brakes, the minute you press the brakes, cruise will throw you off, right? We fixed both of it with our implementation of cruise. We have a system that magically can deliver the torque that you need to climb up. And when you're going down, it knows how to take over. There is our version of electronic brakes that we've already implemented. So it can brake without you worrying about it. And even if you were to brake and accelerate, cruise will not throw you off. You will always stay in mode. So going up, breeze, cruise will not throw you off. And same thing while coming down. You don't even need to actually use the physical brakes. Because of our magic braking algorithm that we launched with Magic Twist, the vehicle can detect that vehicle is picking up speed. It can automatically brake without you needing to use the brake in the first place. Magic braking This algorithm smartly distributes the regenerative brake between the battery and the motor and manages heat really smartly. So we have our own version of electronic brakes implemented this way. The third scenario where cruise is used, which is low-speed crawl control, which is riding on a really off terrain. Again, in a regular bike, any attempt at touching the brake, any attempt at slowing down will immediately throw you off. But on an Ather, it won't. And what we've done is really figure out that we've lowered the threshold at which cruise works all the way down to 10 kilometers per hour, which is literally the lowest speed at which you can balance a two-wheeler. Below 10, even you can't even balance a two-wheeler, so cruise is obviously pointless. But even at 10 kilometers per hour, cruise will work, will keep you in mode. Finally, before I wrap up this section, one of the biggest reasons 2 years ago we actually did not launch cruise is because we were not very happy with the safety of a classical cruise system. So we took our time. We've added multiple levels of safety today, starting first with the sensors within the brake and the throttle. These are your first layer of defense. if something were to ever go off, these will step in. So the minute you press the brake and the throttle, brake or the throttle, the sensor will detect it and will put your cruise system on pause. The secondary layer of safety that we have built is in the Ather drive controller that we announced about 2 years ago. The Ather drive controller is constantly understanding the speed delta between your motor and your cruise set speed. Any difference between those, and the ADC takes over and cuts cruise off completely. And we didn't stop there. We built another layer of safety with the implementation of skid control and traction control in our products recently. We're using those to also now study the front wheel speed, and we're combining all this data. So any disconnect between the front wheel speed or the motor speed or any input from the brake or the throttle, our safety systems immediately take over and ensure that you will never have to worry about safety on an Ather cruise system. So just like that, keep cruising on any road, at any speed, which is 3 different features: city cruise, hill control, and crawl control. Now, if you think about it, while I talked about them as 3 different features, they're really not 3 different features. They're all doing the same thing. We don't need multiple buttons to really solve for this. They're all controlling your speeds at the same level. And unlike classical cars, we don't need different hardware to pull this off. We already have a lot of the hardware built in with our recent introductions. With a very smart implementation of software, for us, they are not 3 different modes. They are not 3 different implementations. All of them, instead of multiple buttons, one button to rule them all, one feature where all of it is contained within it, introducing Infinite Cruise on Ather Apex. So you will not have to fiddle around and worry, yeah, I'm on hills, maybe I need to worry about hill control. Now I need to figure out where the crawl control switch is, and maybe now I need to activate city cruise. One button that will just take you through all of those modes automatically. Here is an end film that just sort of sets the mood for cruise on our products.
So I lean back and feel the sun on my skin. As I gently steal the caresses of the wind.
Cruise will launch on Apex first. So all new Apexes will now ship with Cruise. And because we got a lot of flack for it in the past, as a special thank you to many of our existing Apex owners, all Apexes with traction control, which is 2025 Apex, will also get it as an OTA as backward compatible. So this OTA will also ship out very soon. Okay, great. So we're now done with this feature. Time to move on to our big upgrade on software to Atherstack. I'll give the team a second to go there. Perfect. Actually, before I start talking about Atherstack, let me just play a quick video that sets the mood, because every single feature that we're announcing is just a complete different mood today. And Atherstack is all about giving you calm and simplifying things for you this time around. So let's cue in the video.
Take a regular day in your life. You headed to work. First, you're busy avoiding potholes, cutting through traffic. Maybe it'll start raining. In the middle of it all, you need to take an urgent call. Then, you have to find parking. You don't even realize you're doing so much while riding your two-wheeler. Sounds like a lot. These might look like mundane everyday things to you, but to us, these are opportunities. Opportunities to do more for you while you ride and make it feel
It's not just a spec here or a feature there. It's how all these experiences are coming together. At Ather, we take hardware, design, and software together to build these magical experiences. Over the years, with features like Magic Twist, Skid Control, Auto Hold, and many others, Send to Scooter, Theft and Toad, Chit Chat, we've tried doing exactly that. And the core philosophy, specifically with software, has been to get Atherstack to do more so that you have to do lesser and lesser and lesser things. And that's the theme for Atherstack this year. The big focus for us this year, we'll obviously build a lot of tech and we'll announce a lot of features, but the big focus for us this year is that as Ather is going mainstream, we want to make sure that our tech is useful and is usable not just by the people in this room, but by our parents and our families. We want to take our tech and we want to make it mainstream. Atherstack's latest version, Atherstack 7, will do exactly that. Make technology more useful to all of us in our daily lives. And one exciting piece, it'll unlock a whole new way of interacting with your scooter. First, let's quickly see what are the ways we've already built for you to interact with your Ather. There is the mobile app, there's the touchscreen dashboard, there is switches, a joystick on top of it. We've built a lot of different ways for you to interact with your vehicle, and that's how we've been able to add so many features. But ultimately, all these mediums come with a certain amount of constraint. Ultimately, your eyes have to be on the road and your hands have to be on the handlebar. However good the touchscreen is, we can't let you play around with it while you're driving the vehicle. However good the buttons are, there's a limit to how many physical buttons we can keep adding onto your handlebar. Look at this thing here. Every time I come here and we add features and a new button pops up there, we added reverse, then we add modes, then we have power, now we've added cruise, there is that joystick. There are enough things already. There is really no space for us to add more things. But that obviously can't become a constraint. So that's what we want to fix. We want to elevate your experience drastically. We want to add a whole new way for you to interact with your scooter. Let's unveil that.
Hello. What are we doing today?
Ather intelligence.
Introducing voice now on your Ather. Voice makes every interaction more seamless than ever before. It gives us an opportunity to do so much more, build so many more feature sets than we could have ever built before. Just press one button that we already have and tell your Ather what to do. Let's just see a quick demo of that. Adarsh here will show us a demo of how we use voice on the Halo, sorry, on the Ather. Do we have the camera? Yes. Sorry, one sec. I think the feed is not live still. Do we go? Okay, go, yes.
Navigation start, destination, MG Road Metro Station.
Taking you to MG Road Metro Station.
Thanks, Adarsh. Just stay there for a minute, maybe. Yeah, I'll go forward. One sec. Yeah. That's good, but it's extremely boring. We also chose Adarsh for it because he gave a beautiful demonstration of what a robotic voice sounds like. That's where voice typically fails. You have to remember inanely boring and robotic commands like those. You have to say things like start navigation, destination. And ultimately what happens is you will learn because you bought the car, you bought the scooter. Your parents won't, your sister won't, your brother won't, nobody else will remember, and people stop using voice thereafter always. We want to fix that, so we have. And the way we have done that is by leveraging the coolest thing in town these days, AI. So we have a custom trained large language model on different dialects and different speeches for Ather specific use cases. What that allows us to do is, can we see a demo there?
Let's go to MG Metro.
Taking you to MG Road Metro.
Can we try one more?
Yeah.
There's one more.
Let me try one more.
Yeah.
Take me to the nearest charger.
Navigating to the nearest Ather grid.
You know, these things are so prone to failure when you're doing live demos. I was pretty sure it'll fail. Didn't. It worked. Yeah. You can try a whole bunch of different commands. You can say things like, show me the way to Cubbon Park, or let's go to Cubbon, or, take me to Cubbon, so on and forth. All of them will perfectly work. Less like commands, more like conversations. Natural language with voice on your Ather.
Let's go to the gym.
Taking you there.
Take me to Rahul's place.
Let's go.
Thank you. There are lots of different things you can do on the scooter, not just navigate. You can say things like, set magic twist to high, or let's go home, or I need to charge, take me to a charging point. How many kilometers to 𝙎𝙤𝙚𝙦? Make the screen brighter. I am sure this is a reasonably useful case for many people. Decrease the brightness. All of this will work. Natural language will detect all of it. The model is trained for all of it already. Now, what you heard the scooter speak was responding back to your commands, right? But what would be cooler is if the scooter understood your context and did things a little bit more proactively as opposed to always reacting. Introducing proactive alerts with voice on your Ather, and let's see the video to really get a sense of what it is.
It's late. Recommended to share your live location. It's about to rain. Change your traction control mode.
The vehicle is processing and understanding a lot about where you're riding, how you're riding, what's the time of the day, what's your use case, and is using all of it to give you proactive alerts even before you think of them. So whether it was sharing the live location or changing the traction control, or in some cases even suggesting starting navigation to home because it's 7 p.m. on a weekday, where else would you be likely going, right? So all these alerts is what we're building out with voice here. Finally, a big feature set that opens up with voice is around safety, and that's what we want to now unveil. Over the years, with 4.5 lakh customers on the road, having driven 760 crore kilometers in our cities, there is an extensive amount of data that our systems been processing. And a lot of this data is around our roads and road quality and how our vehicles ride on them. At the center of a lot of that riding is the IMU that we have below the, basically on the, just below the dashboard. This thing is collecting data, things like lean angles, speed, acceleration, how much low does your vehicle go, what kind of surface it is going over. It's taking all of it, processing it, and it's essentially building out a map of our cities, and it is understanding what kind of roads we travel every day on. I am sure you can see where this is going. Introducing pothole alerts on your Ather. I kid you not, there are people at Ather who've been pitching this feature for the last 8 years. 8 people to bring this feature to all of you. The way this works is the IMU is learning everything we mapped out. If you're navigating on your scooter, and if there is a pothole ahead, you will see this alert pop out. And once again, let's just see a video to understand how this works. pothole alerts on your dashboard in your Ather. However, the chances are if you missed a pothole, if you miss seeing a pothole, you will likely also miss reading that notification on your dashboard, right? And this is where voice comes in and elevates that experience even further, like this.
Bumpy road ahead. Ride carefully. Bumpy road ahead. Ride carefully.
Voice takes, there is data, there is engineering, there is intelligence, but voice is the final part of this equation that makes it all add up beautifully. We could have built this feature, we could have launched it, and I'm guessing most of us would not have been able to really use it because we would have required you to look at the dashboard all the time. But you put a halo on, and the halo gets a notification from your phone, from your vehicle. It's a three-way Bluetooth architecture, and it'll be able to tell you before you approach that pothole. We've already collected a ton of data. We've already, by the way, this is not a feature that we hope and imagine and we dream about. We've already built this out quite a lot. For example, this is how Bangalore pothole data looks like. And if you think Bangalore is, well, predictable, there are other cities also that we have. We have Pune, we have Delhi, we have Mumbai, we have Chennai. I'm sure there are people from Chennai here. You can't see, obviously, we can't show you all the data here on the screen right now, but you don't need to wait. When you step outside today, in the stalls, we have a zone where you can go find your city in our database and see if you can find that famous pothole that you all talk about in our maps, right? Obviously, we can't promise that we know every single pothole, but the data seems to tell us that we seem to know a lot of them now. Great. Now that is pothole alerts, but really what we have at its core is not just potholes, but really road quality, which brings us to better rides, even on bad roads, with smooth road suggestions. So we are integrating this experience with your navigation. So today, when you search for a place or you start navigating to a place, you will get one or two route options. We are adding a third route option in that UI. So there is the best route, there is the fastest route. Now there is the better road to drive on, which is the road free of most amount of potholes, potentially the smoother road to drive on every time. Now, we can try and predict many of these bad stretches of roads for you, but what we can't do is still predict how every rider is there on the road with you, right? So what if this happens?
I'm okay.
Introducing crash alerts on your Ather. It detects if you've been in a serious accident, and the first thing it'll do is it'll change your UI. It'll flash alerts automatically there. So passerbys can, like even if you are unconscious, they will know who to call because those details will be flashing on your scooter display. And up to 3 emergency contacts will be automatically notified that you've been in an accident, and your live location will be automatically shared with all of them so that they can come help you and give you the help that you need. Now, some of you might already be thinking, and we did get one question yesterday also when we were talking to the media, that what if it is a small scrape or minor fall? How do you differentiate between them? I don't want you to go around telling my dad all the time. I like marginally bump somebody that red alert, red alert, red alert, beta kya kar raha, beta kya kar raha. So you have to be a little bit more respectful. Well, it is not an easy feature. This actually has taken a lot of engineering to build out. And this was a fun video that we built internally just to celebrate the engineering that went inside to detect different kind of crashes. But the video is so good that we just want to play it here live on stage. Let's cue the video in.
It hasn't been easy. All we have been doing for the past few months is crash perfectly good scooters. A lot of them. And for what?
To differentiate between minor bumps and major crashes.
So before Ather, I thought all the crashes were of the same kind, the bad kind. But nowadays, all we do is come up with different kinds of
Crashes. Front impact crash, side impact crash, crash caused by potholes, crash where the brakes were applied, where they weren't, crash where the scooter was fine, but the rider. Every thud is not a tragedy, which meant tuning thresholds, preventing false positives, it never ends. Reading vibrations, abrupt acceleration, harsh braking, and other anomalies, so that you get help only when you need it. Many scooters have given their ECUs for this.
For a feature we hope to never end up needing. Rest in pieces.
How many? 9. 10.
Yeah. We have a small demonstration of how crashes work. Yeah, so are we going to see a smaller thing first? Are we not doing that? Do we have a baseball bat? Yeah? Yeah, please do. Do whatever, man. Yeah. The simple bumps, crashes, like I'm sure all this stuff does not trigger it. You're good? You're good. Anything else? Let's get a bat. Let's get a bat. Can we get a bat, please? Here. Bat, bat, bat. Ah, perfect. Yeah, please do put on goggles. We did demos of this yesterday. This 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦 can sometimes get a little aggressive. Yeah, please. Yeah. Yeah, so all of this will not trigger an alert on your vehicle. Can we now try something a little harder? I think we should. Yeah. So what if you've been in an unfortunate accident? One we hope you're not in, but does happen. What if there is an aggressive driver that you can't predict on the road, like 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦 here? Godspeed. Yep. Crash alert triggered. We can see the screen here. Yeah, I think. Thanks, 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦. Yeah, can we get this out? Thank you. We just want to give you confidence that crash alert won't trigger in a normal situation, that it will take a real crash. Wow, this is really loud. That'll take a real crash to trigger it. And if you've been in that crash, the vehicle will blare itself apart, making sure that everybody does get the notification that this needs to be taken care of. And the scooter is still fine, by the way. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Continuing on our safety features with Atherstack 7, we come to our next feature, which is again an understanding of road data, something that we've been once again collecting for a long while, which is where you park. Let's see. We call it park safe. We know where you should park the vehicle. Now, honestly, we can't tell you where you should park the vehicle. It's too damn hard. No parking zones are like everywhere in the city. But what we do have some data for is where you are really at risk if you were to park your vehicle. Let's just play that. What we are doing is we are accumulating our understanding of tow zones. Whenever Ather vehicles have been towed across the country, we are taking all the data, we're accumulating it, and we're building a data bank of which are tow-prone zones, right? Not necessarily parking or no parking zones, but where your vehicles can get towed a lot because there is enough historical precedence of vehicles getting towed. So we're taking that, and if you were to ever park there, you will get this notification, so you would know better to avoid that situation. In fact, even this experience is elevated further with voice in your Halo.
You've parked in a tow zone. Please park in a different spot.
Don't just park safe. We won't even let you get the helmet off. Even before you get the helmet out, the minute you put the side stand, if the data says that that's a tow-prone zone, you will get the notification, right? The next feature is one which is really for the security of your vehicle more than you. So this again uses the data that we have collected. This uses the algorithms that we have built around predicting theft. I guaranteed could not have figured out that this was going to get the best applause. So if your vehicle is being moved, is getting effectively stolen, then you will get the notification on your mobile phone, and using a new architecture that we have built, you will be able to remotely immobilize your vehicle. That feature is called lock safe. That's how it will work. You'll be able to see the thing pop up on your mobile app, and you can lock the vehicle remotely, overriding the physical key. So even if somebody has the physical key and is turning the vehicle on, you can override that and immobilize your vehicle. And obviously, we're taking care of corner cases. We will obviously take care of corner cases. We will not lock the vehicle when it's going at 60 on a highway or it's on the top of flyover. We'll make sure we bring it to a halt sensibly. Control, which essentially is, well, a physical, literal remote control on your vehicle. And this finally solves for two of the longest standing asks from our community since we launched a connected vehicle. Finally, using this from your mobile app, you will be able to stop charging. So you don't need to go back. It's amazing how many people still will go down manually 8 floors and switch off their charger at 11 p.m. You don't need to do that now. Finally, you can do it on the mobile app. And you'll finally also be able to use our original feature, which is, where is it? Yes, remote shutdown. You'll be able to do remote shutdown also from the mobile app directly. You don't need to go physically to the vehicle to do that. And the last, a bit more fun feature on Atherstack after this entire safety seriousness is cricket scores on your dashboard. Yeah. So this will be there on your dashboard on the bottom right side. When you stop the vehicle, you can just tap that data there to get an ungodly amount of information. To see an ungodly amount of information of the current cricket match happening anywhere in the world, and you'll be able to see it. Obviously, you'll not be able to see it when you're riding the vehicle. You'll have to bring the vehicle to a halt to enjoy the experience. All of this, all features, particularly all the voice features, are built with a deep integration. At the center of all of that is our smart helmet line that we introduced last year, 𝙎𝙤𝙧𝙦. So obviously, if you're doing so much with voice, it's time that we refreshed 𝙎𝙤𝙧 a little bit. So 𝙎𝙤𝙧 is now moving on to its generation 2. First, it gets new colors. The full face 𝙎𝙤𝙧 now is available in 3 different colors. The new generation of 𝙎𝙤𝙧 also has a different feature set from the first one. It obviously has video detection, chit chat, and music sharing, but it also has pin lock enabled visor, and it has an emergency pull-out padding for particularly if in an accident, something that community gave us a lot of feedback on. It loses wireless charging, moves to USB-C charging, but with this new configuration, we're able to make the entire product a lot more affordable, which we had a philosophy change as we kept building feature sets on 𝙎𝙤𝙧. We realized that we don't want to just keep 𝙎𝙤𝙧 as an amazing marketing product. We want to take it mainstream. We want all of our families to use it, especially with the features around voice that we have built now. And to do that, 𝙎𝙤𝙧 is a lot more affordable now. The new generation of 𝙎𝙤𝙧 is now at 5 and 3,000 rupees. Yeah, 5 and 3,000 rupees, and those are the new prices. So a lot of you gave us feedback that the helmet is good, but come on, it's got to be more affordable, or everybody should buy it. Feedback taken. Helmets now enormously more affordable. I think those prices are also with GST, by the way. Great. So that's it. That's all about Atherstack 7. Lots of new things we have done. Can we just stop?
Hello, what are we doing today?
Take me to cafe store.
Taking you to cafe store.
Let's go home.
Taking you home. Rainfall expected. Change your traction control mode to rain.
Need the next song.
Playing now. You hit 1,000 kilometers today.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, we are at the end of all the upgrades on what we already had. We are now moving on to the last 2 sections for the day. I'll just give the team a minute to queue in the next platform. Ather. So let's start. We've been building for the last 12 years. Originally, with 450, we thought we had everybody's scooter. And we kept arguing for the longest time that you don't need any other product. Like 450 will do the job for everybody, every use case, every scenario. But we got wiser. As years rolled by, there was an overwhelming amount of feedback that we like Ather, we like your tech, we like your quality, but we need a different product. We need a different format. Thus was born Rizta, our first family scooter. And now with 450 and with Rizta, we ended up covering really 2 very diverse ends of the market. A sporty performance scooter on one end and a family comfortable scooter on the other end with Rizta. Our view now is, and it's completely the opposite of where we started, our view now is that the market will keep premiumizing. The Indian two-wheeler market, very much like the rest of the India market, will keep premiumizing, and a premiumizing market tends to diversify. What that means in simple terms is, as the country gets richer, the era of a one scooter for the family is ending. Different members of the family are going to need different products. let's see this family here. This is a small and medium business owner. He needs a product that has a lot of storage space, that is very robust. This here is a college kid who's really trying to buy a macho sporty scooter. This here is a school teacher who's really optimizing for a comfortable and a safe product for most. All three of them are going to be buying their own individual scooters, two-wheelers, and they're all going to need different products. It's impossible that all three of them will go buy the same thing because that's what the market buys. So we need to prepare for that future. Every time we build, we believe the future is going to be many scooters, many products for different consumer tastes. And for that future, we can't every time go back to the drawing board and build a product completely from scratch. We now need a platform, not just a scooter, not just individual products. A platform on which we can build exceptional scooters for everyone. So after 12 years of building a first platform, we're here to unveil our second platform today, the EL platform. Let's cue in the introduction. The EL platform is part fixed and part variable, obviously. The three parts that are going to be unchanging. First is the frame, a tubular steel unibody architecture, which is going to be fixed in all our products. Next up is the powertrain. And third is the electrical architecture. Keeping these three things constant, these are components that need an enormous amount of engineering and testing. Keeping these three things constant, but playing around with the other variables like the battery pack, the display, the tire sizes, the suspension, we can create unique purpose-built products for different consumers. And these are not going to be just a surface treatment. These are not just going to be skin jobs on the same thing internally, which is one thing that's frustrated us always while we've been building scooters, that almost all scooters particularly seem to have the same thing inside with just different plastics around it, which is why they feel the same, they ride the same, they are the same. We're going to do a different job while still getting the benefit of a common platform. And you don't have to imagine that we are just, how will we build this platform? For the sake of this conversation, let's try building products on stage here to just showcase the power of this platform. Let's start with something that's the largest in the scooter space, a maxi scooter. A maxi scooter typically has wide proportions, big road presence, and generally just spacious dimensions overall. So that would need an elongated rear subframe. Yeah, elongated rear subframe for a bigger seat and longer straight line stability of the product. We will need bigger wheels. So we'll pop the wheel sizes up to about 14-inch, which is one of the largest, I think, now in the industry, for better stability in straight lines and better comfort on potholes and long distance driving. We'll also pump the wheel sizes, we also pump the battery sizes up, take the battery to about 5 kilowatt hour on this platform, which is going to be one of the largest batteries in the industry today. Put all that together with a great visual and a great body all around it, and you have a great maxi scooter built on the EL platform. Let's try attempting building something else. What's the opposite of a maxi? Something small, something nifty, peppy city scooter. Let's try building that. The first thing we will do is bring the frame down because the vehicle needs to be more agile, needs to be more maneuverable. So we'll shrink the rear part of the frame. We'll leave the rest of the frame intact. We'll pop down the wheel sizes to about 12-inch for better maneuverability and better flickability in traffic. I'll just let it play out. Yes. And we will also pop the battery size down, the lowest battery size on this platform, which is going to be about 2 kilowatt hours, while maintaining a very similar performance level that you're expecting on the same product. Put all of it together, and now you have a great peppy city scooter designed for the urban use case. Let's try building a third one on this. This is the bread and butter of our industry, commuter. But this time, let's do the commuter a little differently. Let's optimize for safety more than anything else in this product. First, let's get the basics out. Let's pop back the rear frame so that you have a more comfortable ride, bigger, better, more comfortable seats overall. Let's also elongate the suspension a little bit. Long wheelbase will give you almost unmatched stability on city roads. Finally, we'll do safety now. So let's introduce the upgrade over CBS. CBS is there on all our products, but we believe it's time to go beyond that. Introducing our proprietary new architecture called the Advanced Electronic Braking System. This is a significant upgrade over what CBS does, and I'll just explain that in the following slides. And obviously ADAS, because all modern two-wheelers are going to have them. A combination of ADAS, advanced EBS, longer wheelbase, bigger wheels gives us a really good safety characteristic as a product. And there it is. You have immediately a commuter that prioritizes safety. And just like that, in 2 minutes, we were able to build 3 very different products on the same platform. The point here is obviously not the exact product. The point is how versatile the platform is. We can build something as large as Maxi to as small as a Peppy scooter to a safety-focused commuter product, all on the same platform with almost minimal changes, right? And now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the other benefits of this platform. First, let's talk about safety. So I talked about advanced electronic braking system. What this does is a typical combi braking system has fixed, what do we call it? A fixed brake biasing. So generally, if you press the combi brake, the front wheel has a 20% bias. But with this, we have dynamic brake biasing, and coupled with the magic braking algorithm that we have, what we get is a pretty large upgrade over what CBS is able to do. This gives you shorter stopping distances and overall a significantly upgraded braking experience. That again, coupled with much larger wheels, much larger wheelbases, and ADAS gives you a very good safety package on this product. Let's go to the next vector here, which is convenience. One thing that we've been eyeing for a long while on our existing products, but couldn't do till now, is get all our electronics together, get a lot of our power electronics particularly together, which is what we're doing on the EL platform. We are taking 2 of the largest chunks, which is the charger and the Ather drive controller, ADC, and we are merging them into a singular unit. And the reason we're doing it is, and this has frustrated us and been an opportunity for so long. These are 2 components, these are 2 modules, sorry, that share almost the same components at its core. They do essentially a very similar job. This converts AC to DC, and this converts DC back to AC. And they do it in 2 different time zones. You don't use the charger when the motor is going to run, and you don't run the motor when it's charging, right? So 2 components that work in 2 different time zones share almost the same pieces inside. Why not bring them in the same module, which is what we have done. Introducing Ather Charge Drive Controller. It essentially is an amalgamation of our charger and the ADC in a singular module, what we also like to call something that converts AC to DC and DC to AC. So we're just going to call it AC-DC as a module. Very topical for the event here today. Now, this saves space, this saves us money, this makes assembly faster, but the biggest advantage that you will get as a consumer on this platform with this architecture is in charging. Because now, with all of that in a single module, you don't need an off-board charger. So what we will be able to do is replace this portable charger with this, just a small cable. So onboard charging becomes extremely convenient with AC-DC here. Let's move on for scalability. We're going to more cities. We are becoming a larger and larger company. So obviously scalability has to be the center of how we are approaching and building products now. EL products will have a simplified architecture. The original 450 product line had 16 components, 12 components in the frame. Rizta brought it down to 7. And with EL, we are moving to a single body, single part unibody steel frame architecture. All of this reduces the number of parts significantly. Your number of parts come down by 15% at a vehicle level, which makes it 15% faster to assemble and 15% cheaper to produce overall at a assembly level. So cost comes down because of that. This vehicle will be produced out of a new factory, which we're calling the Ather Factory 3.0. That's how the facade of the new factory is shaping up. We would obviously welcome all of you once it is up next year in Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. It's going to be a beautiful piece, and this is the place where EL platform products will roll out from. This is certainly the place where scaling up of EL will happen starting next year. Moving forward, final piece on what we're building here, scalability is done, is serviceability. Obviously, we've had a good track record of it and we want to maintain that. So given that we had an opportunity to do a complete clean job with serviceability with this architecture, we've done a few new things. What we've done is we've redesigned your transmission, as you saw in the video there. We have tweaked the frame components. We have changed the reach for every service operation, and that does two things. First, today we have about a 5,000 kilometer service interval. So you need to come for servicing at intervals of about 5,000 kilometers. With all these changes, we expect the interval will increase. So you will have to come fewer times for servicing. We expect service intervals will increase almost up to not 6, 7, but almost 10,000 kilometers. So you will come almost just once in a year for service in some sense. And every time you do come, we expect servicing to be almost 2x faster, which means that you will spend lesser time in service when you do come for service. So overall service experience should see a significant upgrade with the EL platform next year and onwards. Finally, just a summary. We showed you a bunch of concepts here. Honestly, we don't have a crystal ball. The point is not that we know that, this concept will work or this product will work or this product will work. What we do know for sure is that we are going to need a lot of products in the future. And EL as a platform sets us up really well for that future. Having said that, there is a concept on this platform that we have been working on, and we're very excited to unveil that today because that's come out really well. So I think time to cue in music and introduce 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦. Yeah, I think we're just waiting for, yes, there it is. 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦. Thank you, folks. If you can all get back, we'll just continue, finish the last part. We'll bring the vehicles up for a final photo shoot towards the end. Thank you. Yeah. So that was all about the Yale platform and the concept we built on it. We're particularly excited about that. That's a commuter concept we talked about, commuter concept focused on safety. We continue to develop it, and shortly, sometime next year, we'll be able to reveal more details around the exact product. Let's move on. Last section of the day, we talked about our first concept vehicle. Let's go there. There's a theme that you would have noticed by now, because honestly, we have left no opportunity to hammer it on everybody's head, which is experience and magic. That's literally the theme for AC/DC today. Over the years, we've come to realize that we are really passionate about using tech to build magical experiences at the end of the day. Not specs, not features, but experiences. And while historically there was like almost like a race against time, because we wanted to build so many things, but the product had to come out first, that we always launch the product and on the product launch the experience. We want to change that now. We want to now start showing you the experiences that we imagine for the future, even before they come on an actual product. And that's what this section is. This is our first ever concept vehicle. We are not launching it today or yet. I just want to clarify that. It does look good, but the point is more than the concept here. All the experiences we are showing you on this product. And we want to do that because we don't want to wait until we go ahead and launch the final product at some point in time. So let's get into it. The big thing that we are pushing the envelope today with this concept vehicle is responsiveness. If you think of elevated how responsive your vehicle is, by introducing voice, we've further elevated how responsive your vehicle is. We want to keep tugging on that thread, and we want to make our vehicles even more responsive in the future. And that's going to be the common theme with what we show off today with this entire concept. First, let's start with the core vehicle itself, the basics. The basics of this kind of a product, if responsiveness is the theme, the mechanicals have to be very responsive. And a responsive mechanicals is generally one thing. They've got to be agile, they've got to be dynamic, they've got to be lightweight. Starting first with the frame. Cast aluminum frame that's designed for an incredible looks and incredible weight and strength. The seat, which is a 3D printed lattice mesh, which is really designed for, again, lower weight and flexes exactly where you need it to flex. The body, which is built out of an experimental material, Amplitex, which is a high performance material, again, optimized for weight with the right amount of strength built into it. All of this comes together beautifully as a package and gives you what is a stunner of a product. And it gets better when you put the body on it. Introducing Project Redux, a vehicle with which we are really exploring the ends of what we can do with responsiveness, the limits of what we can do with responsiveness. So you saw what we did with the mechanicals. Obviously, it does not stop there. For us, a very responsive vehicle is one that does not need instruction in the first place. It goes beyond instruction and really understands your intent. What does that mean? It means experiences like this. You can just walk up to this vehicle. The vehicle will recognize you. It'll detect who you are. You don't need to carry a key. You don't even need to carry a key fob. There is going to be literally no button on this vehicle. True keyless experience, if there ever was one. So whenever we build keyless, the experience would be modeled on these lines, not a regular keyless that we've seen in the industry. It goes beyond even the form of the vehicle. So you can sit upright on the vehicle like you would in any other regular motor scooter. But when you want to go fast, all you have to do is lean in. And when you lean in, the vehicle readjusts its geometry, the suspension retunes itself, lowers the center of gravity, and the software tunes itself for a faster, better acceleration over anything else. So it becomes a far more thrilling ride, a far more fascinating ride than what it was before. All of it with you not even clicking a button, not even saying anything, with you just bending down and taking the form that you're supposed to. The concept continues. When you bend down, even the UI changes, what we are calling as Morph UI. With Morph UI, we are exploring a lot on the display. So this is a very large vertical display rather than the typical horizontal displays that we have had. They're designed to show you intelligently a vast array of data, a lot of information, but it also will understand when you don't need to see all that information. So when you go to a committed stance and you bend down, in that case, it's not just the UI that changes, but the entire screen bends down and gets to show you only what you need to see, which is the power and the speed in this case. Right? So everything stitched up to understanding your intent as opposed to be waiting for your instruction. The throttle has haptics inbuilt into it. So this elevates the engagement with the product for us. The vehicle can now give you a lot more feedback when the turns are coming, when the road is getting sharper, when it wants you to do something. And you can also press on the throttle, and there's pressure sensors built into it, so you can engage more with the vehicle. So both the handlebars will have this. And the final hero feature, final hero experience on this product, particularly for performance vehicles, which we are calling the takeoff mode. In the takeoff mode, as an extension of our already exciting zero lag throttle, we've elevated that further. So what we do here is, when you're waiting for the light to go green, you just press the brakes, you throttle up completely, you twist the throttle completely. The vehicle now understands that you really want to take off. It builds up potential. Its ergo once again adjusts down. It shifts its center of gravity down. It changes its mode. And the minute you release throttle, you're immediately the fastest thing on the road. You pick up pace much faster, shaving off those few precious milliseconds that are required in a performance vehicle, giving a really incredible performance. Those are all the different experiences on this. 4 different things: truly keyless, adaptive stance, Morph UI, and takeoff, all coming together in a brilliant package that we are calling Redux. Let's cue in the video. Project Redux. And can Swapnil bring EL back on stage again? EL01, Project Redux. Thank you, folks. End of ACDC 2025. selfie.
सो गाइज आई थिंक इट्स टाइम फॉर माई टेक। तो कैसा इवेंट था? ओवरऑल काफ़ी अच्छा इवेंट था, जैसा एथर से एक्सपेक्ट किया था। एंड आई थिंक मुझे बाकी कंपनीज़ के लॉन्च इवेंट्स की आदत हो चुकी है, इसी वजह से मैं थोड़ा सा लेट आया था, अराउंड 5-6 मिनट। तब तक इवेंट स्टार्ट हो चुका था, मतलब स्टार्टिंग की अनाउंसमेंट्स तो नहीं हुई, बट इंट्रो पार्ट वो थोड़ा सा रह गया। ठीक है, बाकी हाईलाइट्स की बात करता हूँ, फिर अपना टेक देता हूँ चीज़ों के जो प्रोडक्ट्स लॉन्च हुए उनके बारे में। ठीक है, सबसे पहले तो इन्होंने एथर रिस्टा जो जी वाला मॉडल है ना, जो टॉप एंड वाला मॉडल है, ठीक है, उसमें ओ टी अपडेट्स के थ्रू टच स्क्रीन इनेबल कर दिए। मतलब अब ओ टी अपडेट्स आएंगे, जो भी रिश्ता जेड वाले ओनर्स हैं ना, जी या जेड कह सकते हो, तो उनको अपडेट्स के थ्रू अब क्या कहते हैं उससे, टच स्क्रीन की काम करने लग जाएगी। पहले खाली जॉयस्टिक कंट्रोल था, तो इन्होंने शुरू से ही ऐसी डिस्प्ले दी थी जिसमें टच स्क्रीन मतलब वो सेंसिटिव थी वो, बट हाँ डिसेबल कर रखा था सॉफ्टवेयर से। तो उन्होंने जी वालों को तो इसे इनेबल करके दिया, ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। बिकॉज इन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ कही कि यार जो जिन्होंने रिश्ता ली थी वो ओनर्स लेफ्ट आउट फील ना करें, इसलिए। देन इसके बाद आता है इनका एथर का सेकंड जनरेशन वाला चार्जर। आई गेस सेकंड जनरेशन ही होगा, थर्ड जनरेशन नहीं होगा। तो उसमें भी एक काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ करी है कि 30 किलोमीटर चार्ज हो जाएगा आपका 10 मिनट के अंदर। ठीक है, ऑल्दो इन्होंने क्लेम किया कि 10 मिनट में आपको पूरे दिन की बैटरी मिल जाएगी, रेंज मिल जाएगी। आई डोंट नो किस तरह से कैलकुलेट किया 30 किलोमीटर पूरे दिन का कैसे होता है ना, बट चलो कोई बात नहीं है ना। एंड मैंने शायद कहीं देखा था उस हिसाब से कि डबल स्पीड का चार्जर है, मतलब डबल स्पीड में चार्ज हो जाता है अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 55 मिनट के अंदर 0 to 100। ठीक है, ये चीज़ है। हाँ, एक चीज़ अच्छी करी इन्होंने, जो काफ़ी सालों से सब मांग रहे थे इनसे, कि ये जो चार्जिंग का जो आपकी कैपेसिटी है ना, मतलब 80% से ऊपर चार्ज नहीं होता अगर आप इनके चार्जर से करते हो, तो एथर ग्रिड से, तो वो हट चुका है। ठीक है, आप अपने स्मार्टफोन से, मतलब रहेगा वो 80 में ही, अगर आपको उससे ऊपर कितना भी करना है तो आप स्लाइडर से 100 तक कर सकते हो। ठीक है, लेकिन आप वो नहीं छेड़ोगे तो 80 तक ही चार्ज होगा। ठीक है, इसके बाद इन्होंने क्रूज़ कंट्रोल लॉन्च किया, जो कि मुझे काफ़ी, मतलब स्टार्टिंग में लग रहा था कि यार ठीक है इम्प्लीमेंटेशन नॉर्मली होगा, बट मुझे पता था एथर कुछ अपने तरीके से इस तरह की चीज़ करेगा जो कि अलग होगा एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली यूज़फुल होगा। ठीक है, तो इन्होंने इन्फिनिट क्रूज़ नाम दिया उसमें। ठीक है, और 3 मोड्स एक साथ आ जाते हैं, सिटी, हिल एंड क्रॉल। ठीक है, एंड आई गेस सिटी वाला आपको समझ में आ ही गया होगा, हिल वाला आप पहाड़ी से ऊपर नीचे आते हो वो, एंड क्रॉल मोड बिल्कुल आप जो बिल्कुल धीरे तरीके से चलाओ तो उसके लिए। ठीक है, एंड इसी के साथ साथ 3 सेफ्टी फीचर्स और होंगे इसमें, जो कि क्रूज़ कंट्रोल को, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि जो नॉर्मली अपन चलाते हैं ना, तो ब्रेकिंग या हल्का सा एक्सेलरेशन कर दिया तो क्रूज़ कंट्रोल ऑफ हो जाता है। तो इन्होंने 3 चीज़ों से उसको सेफ़ बनाया। ठीक है, और इस तरह से बनाया कि वो कट ऑफ ना हो, पॉज हो जाएगा। ठीक है, अगर मान लो आप 40 पे क्रूज़ कर रहे हो, आप 20 पे ले आए, 10 पे ले आए, स्कूटर रोक भी दिया, लेकिन जब आप वापस चलाओगे ना, तो वो एकदम से स्टडी पेस पकड़ के उसी स्पीड में चला जाएगा वापस। ठीक है, एंड इसके लिए सेफ्टी के उन्होंने काफ़ी चीज़ों पे ध्यान दिया कि यार अब हो सकता है ना, अब आपको मैं कंपनीज़ के नाम नहीं लूँगा, आपको पता है, चलो ओला के स्कूटर्स में काफ़ी ज़्यादा ही पंगा हुआ था, तो उन्होंने काफ़ी ज़्यादा सेफ्टी का ध्यान दिया इन्होंने। तो ब्रेक से, मतलब ब्रेक से सिंक रहता है इसका। ठीक है, कि ब्रेक काम कर रहा है नहीं, ब्रेक पे सेंसर लगा हुआ है। ठीक है, ब्रेक दबते ही ये पॉज हो जाएगा। ठीक है, इसके बाद जो एथर ड्राइव कंट्रोलर जो मोटर को पावर देता है, वो सारी चीज़ें कंट्रोल करता है ना, तो उस पर भी सेंसर, मतलब वो भी कंट्रोल करेगा इससे, कि अगर इसको लग रहा है कि यार मोटर घूम रही है ना, एंड आगे वाला व्हील में भी जो सेंसर लगा हुआ है इनका ट्रैक्शन कंट्रोल के लिए, जो कि पीछे वाले व्हील को देखता है कि पीछे वाला तेज़ घूम रहा है, आगे वाला नहीं घूम रहा, तो ट्रैक्शन कंट्रोल करता है ना। तो इन 3 सेंसर्स के साथ ही ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ होने वाली है कि इसके अंदर जो भी आपको मैनेज करेगा ये, गाइस मैं काफ़ी टाइम से सोया नहीं हूँ तो इसलिए हो सकता है अजीब सी स्पीच हो, बट हाँ एक तरह से ओवरऑल ये मान लो कि सेफ्टी के लिए काफ़ी सही है। 3 अलग अलग जगहों से इनपुट लेगा, उस हिसाब से ये इसको कंट्रोल करेगा अपने क्रूज़ कंट्रोल को, ठीक है। एंड इसी के साथ साथ वॉइस मोड्स आ चुका है, ठीक है। तो ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है कि फाइनली वॉइस के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हो आप अपने स्कूटर से। एक तो बहुत सारे लोग का ये रहता है कि चलाते हुए आप इंटरेक्ट नहीं कर सकते स्क्रीन से, जो कि ऐसा होना चाहिए। मेरे हिसाब से काफ़ी सही रूल है, ठीक है। कोई वो नहीं होना चाहिए कि आप चलाते हुए स्क्रीन को यूज़ कर सको, बट काफ़ी लिमिटेड हो जाता है। आपको स्कूटर खड़ा करना पड़ता है, उसके बाद करना पड़ता है। एआई वॉइस मोड, मतलब वॉइस मोड जो इन जनरल कहूँ, असिस्टेंट जो आप कह सकते हो उसे, वो काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। इसमें इन्होंने लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल एआई का यूज़ किया है। मुझे लगा था ईथर इंटेलिजेंस बोलेंगे उसको, एप्पल इंटेलिजेंस की तरह, बट इन्होंने नॉर्मल एआई ही रखा उसे। तो काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है कि आप कुछ भी बोल सकते हो। वो इंग्लिश में दिखाया था डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन, तो आई होप एंड गेस कि हिंदी में और बाकी इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस में भी आए। फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे अपन रोबोटिक कमांड देते हैं ना, मान लो हे एथर गो टू द रूट एंड जो भी नाम देके, तो बिल्कुल नेचुरल है। अरे गैस स्टेशन पे ले लिया, फिर चार्जिंग स्टेशन पे ले लिया, आपने एग्जांपल समझ लिया होगा इस तरह से। तो इस तरह के नेचुरल सेंटेंसेस है, काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़। लेकिन मुझे यहाँ पे बहुत बुरी ये चीज़ लगी, ये जो इनकी एआई वॉइस थी ना, वो ऑल दो ह्यूमन की वॉइस पे ट्रेन किया होगा उसे, बट बहुत ही ख़राब थी। मतलब बहुत ही गंदी तरह की वॉइस थी। मतलब मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है इस तरह की वॉइस, ठीक है। एक तो मेल वॉइस आनी चाहिए, ठीक है। फीमेल की वॉइस भी हो तो अब इम्प्रूव होना चाहिए। मतलब ठीक है, रोबोटिक साउंड नहीं कर रही, बट बहुत अजीब सी साउंड कर रही है। वो सबका पर्सनल टेक है, बट मुझे सही नहीं। इससे अच्छा गूगल का ही अगर आप ऑडियो देते तो वो ज़्यादा अच्छी थी, ठीक है। इसी के साथ ही जो है वो काफ़ी एक अच्छा फीचर मुझे लगा। ऑल दो फीचर्स का स्टैक है, बट एक इसको मैं कह सकता हूँ पॉट होल अलर्ट्स, ठीक है। तो इसमें क्या होगा कि आपको पता ही है 6-7 साल से ये लोग सारा मैप कर रहे हैं कि कौन किस तरह से स्कूटर चलाता है। इनके अंदर सेंसर्स वगैरह होते हैं, सेंसर्स होते हैं स्कूटर्स में, ठीक है, कि किस तरह से क्या वाइब्रेट कर रहा है, कितना वेट है, वो सारी चीज़ें। तो उसमें ये स्कूटर्स ये देख के पता लगा सकता है, मतलब बिल्कुल मैप का लोकेशन होता है कि लोग इस पॉइंट से जा रहा हूँ मैं, ठीक है। अगर बहुत सारे स्कूटर्स एक ही जगह बहुत सारे गड्ढों में जाते हैं या फिर बहुत सारी अलग अलग मूवमेंट होती हैं, तो कैप्चर कर लेते हैं एंड एक मैप तैयार कर लेते हैं कि यहाँ पे गड्ढे हैं और इस तरह से, तो आपको अलर्ट दे देता है, ठीक है। यहाँ पे एक चीज़ अच्छी है, अलर्ट खाली आपकी स्क्रीन पे नहीं आएंगे। अगर आपने एथर का हेलो हेलमेट ले रखा है, वो पहन रखा है ना, तो उसमें आज आपको सुनाई देगा वॉइस मोड से, जो कि आवाज़ बिल्कुल अच्छी नहीं लगी मुझे इसकी, बट हाँ अगर आवाज़ में इंप्रूवमेंट हो जाता है तो काफ़ी अच्छा फीचर है, ठीक है। इसी के साथ ही यहाँ पे स्मूथ रोड सजेशंस मिल जाते हैं। अगर आपका रोड ख़राब है सामने, तो वो अपने को आप पहले ही सजेस्ट कर देगा, ठीक है। एंड इसी के साथ साथ जो है वो मैप में जो आपको 2 ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं ना, एक तो फास्टेस्ट रूट का और एक बेस्ट रूट का, ठीक है। तो एक तीसरा मोड और आ जाएगा जो कि स्मूथ रोड होगा। मगर आपको अगर उसको पता है कि यार इस गली से ले जाने में बहुत सारे गड्ढे आते हैं, तो वो आपको दूसरी गली से बताएगा ताकि वहाँ पे ज़्यादा गड्ढे ना और आप काफ़ी स्मूथली चल सको, ठीक है। ये भी काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। क्रैश अलर्ट्स लेके आए, ठीक है। ऑल दो पहले भी था थेफ्ट अलर्ट का, लेकिन वो अलग चीज़ है, उसके बारे में आगे बात करूँगा, ठीक है। अगर आपका स्कूटर किसी भी क्रैश में चला जाता है, तो आपके पास जो 3 आप इमरजेंसी कॉन्टैक्ट्स ऐड करोगे, उनके पास नोटिफिकेशन मैसेज चला जाएगा कि यहाँ पे क्रैश हुआ है। इसी के साथ साथ लाइव लोकेशन भी चली जाएगी। एंड इसी के साथ साथ स्कूटर में थोड़े थोड़े इंटरवल के बाद हॉर्न बजेगा और स्क्रीन फ्लैश करेगी, जिसमें आपका एक इमरजेंसी कॉन्टैक्ट का नंबर शो करेगा कि अगर मान लो आप, ऐसा कभी नहीं होना चाहिए, बट मान लो किसी का एक्सीडेंट हो जाए, ठीक है, एथर पे स्कूटर पे, वो बेहोश हो जाए, तो उसका कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर वहाँ पे डिस्प्ले हो जाएगा। ऑल दो फ़ोन्स में भी फीचर्स होते हैं, बट चलो मुझे नहीं पता कितने लोग इनेबल कर सकते हैं, मैंने तो करके रखा है, ठीक है। आपने नहीं किया तो आप लोग भी कर लेना, बट हाँ स्कूटर में फीचर आ जाएगा, ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है, ठीक है। एंड लाइव लोकेशन शेयर हो जाएगी, जिस स्पॉट पर एक्सीडेंट होगा तो 3 इमरजेंसी कॉन्टैक्ट्स को वो लोकेशन चली जाएगी। पार्क सेफ, ये भी काफ़ी अच्छा फीचर है। ऑल दो इतने सारे स्कूटर्स नहीं है एथर के पास कि इतना डेटा हो जाए। इन्होंने मेजर सिटीज़ का नाम लिया, जयपुर का नाम नहीं लिया, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया ऐसा क्यों। यहाँ पे बहुत सारे स्कूटर्स घूमते हुए दिखते हैं, ठीक है। तो चलो लेट्स सी। एंड पार्क सेफ बेसिकली यही है कि आपका अगर आप पार्किंग करते हो तो आपको अलर्ट दे देगा। अगर आपने हेलमेट पहना है तो वॉइस अलर्ट होना स्क्रीन पे कि इस एरिया पे बहुत सारे एथर के स्कूटर्स को टो करके ले गए हैं, तो आप लोग यहाँ पे पार्क मत करो। एंड देन इसके बाद आता है लॉक सेफ फीचर, ठीक है। मतलब ये एक ही फीचर्स का स्टैक है, बंच है, बट इन्होंने अलग अलग बताया था, ठीक है। इसमें आप क्या कर सकते हो, अगर आपका स्कूटर पे आपको पता है नोटिफिकेशन आ जाती है अगर आपका कोई भी स्कूटर छेड़ रहा हो या कोशिश कर रहा हो उठाने की, ठीक है, तो इसमें एक चीज़ कर सकते हो, आप इमोबिलाइज कर सकते हो स्कूटर को, ठीक है। तो आई गेस मेरे हिसाब से क्या होगा कि इसके व्हील्स लॉक हो जाएंगे। स्कूटर तो लॉक रहता है, ये स्कूटर तो व्हील लॉक हो जाएगा ताकि आप हिला डुला के ले जा नहीं सकता वो, ठीक है। आप उठा के कोई ले जाए इतनी प्लानिंग के साथ है, वो अलग बात है, ठीक है। एंड इसी के साथ साथ फिजिकल की भी इमोबिलाइज कर सकते हो, ठीक है। बेसिकली मैं क्या बताऊँ, अगर आपको पता है नकली चाबी लगा के ले लेते हैं लोग। एक तो सबसे बड़ा वो भी रहता है बहुत सारे लोगों का बाकी स्कूटर्स में कि चाबी का सिस्टम नहीं तो लॉक से। तो ईथर ने एक और अच्छी चीज़ करी, चाबी तो है इसमें, ठीक है, लॉक का कोई सिस्टम नहीं है, बट अगर कोई नकली चाबी भी लगा रहा है ना आपके स्कूटर में, तो वो स्कूटर अनलॉक नहीं होगा। अगर आपने ये मोड ऑन ऑन कर दिया तो अगर आप देखो पहले आपके फ़ोन में नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगी कि आपके स्कूटर से छेड़छाड़ कर रहा है, ठीक है, तो आप चाहे तो उसको लॉक कर सकते हो स्कूटर को कि पहिया घूमे नहीं, मतलब आगे पीछे ना जाए स्कूटर। दूसरा ऑप्शन है कि उसमें चाबी भी नहीं लगेगी, अगर आप ओरिजिनल चाबी लगाओगे तब भी नहीं लगेगी, तो हो सकता है कुछ नकली चाबी बना के वो करे ना, तो इसके चक्कर में ओरिजिनल चाबी भी नहीं लगी थी। तो ये काफ़ी अच्छा फीचर है, मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आया फीचर ये, ठीक है। एक चीज़ मुझे यहाँ पे लगता है कि इसी के साथ ना एक SMS का अलर्ट भी होना चाहिए। बहुत सारे टाइम पे मेजॉरिटी मैं भी अपना इंटरनेट ऑफ रखता हूँ, है ना, मतलब फ्लाइट मोड पे रहता है फ़ोन ऑल दो, ठीक है, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोगों का जैसे अंदर कहीं ऐसे एरिया में चल जाए जहाँ पे नेटवर्क नहीं है, ऐसा कुछ हो, तो आई गेस एक SMS का भी होना चाहिए कि एक बार नोटिफिकेशन जाने के बाद अगर यूज़र रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करता है, ऐप चेक कर लेता है कि यार यूज़र का इंटरनेट ऑफ है, तो एक SMS भेज दे, ताकि यूज़र अगर ध्यान भी ना हो उसका तो वो SMS देख के तो एटलीस्ट देख ले कि यार मेरे स्कूटर से छेड़छाड़ हो रही है, ठीक है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है। रिमोट कंट्रोल मैंने आपको बता दिया, जो कि आप मोबाइल ऐप से कई सारी चीज़ें कर सकते हो। अब या तो एक तो चार्जिंग ऑफ कर सकते हो, ये काफ़ी अच्छा फीचर है, ठीक है, एंड इसी के साथ साथ रिमोट शट डाउन कर सकते हो स्कूटर्स को, मान लो गलती से आप भूल गए हो तो स्कूटर बंद कर सकते हो, ठीक है। इसी के साथ साथ हेलो हेलमेट का Gen 2 इन्होंने लॉन्च किया, ठीक है, हेलो बिट भी आता है, बट आई डोंट थिंक उसका कुछ Gen 2 होगा इससे रिलेटेड, बट इसमें हेलो हेलमेट के 3 नए कलर्स आ चुके हैं। इन्होंने नाम तो नहीं पता इस कलर्स का, लेकिन जो मुझे लगा उस समय, एक ब्लैक था, एक रेड और ग्रे का मिक्सचर था, रेड छोटा सा था और ग्रे ज़्यादा था उसमें, एंड एक डार्क ब्लू टाइप था, ठीक है। इसी के साथ गाइस और जो इन्होंने फीचर्स बताए थे मैंने उसे कैप्चर किया है। सबसे पहले तो इसमें वियर डिटेक्शन आ गया, ठीक है, तो ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है हेलमेट में, और चिट चैट एंड म्यूज़िक शेयरिंग ये आ गया है, तो पहले से ही था। USB-C चार्जिंग आ गई है गाइस, तो वायरलेस चार्जिंग इन्होंने बिल्कुल हटा दिया। वो पक टाइप का कुछ होता था ना, तो आप अपने रिश्ता वगैरह में रख सकते थे इससे और वो चार्ज हो जाता था, तो वो हटा दिया, बिल्कुल खाली USB-C चार्जिंग है, जो कि मेरे हिसाब से काफ़ी सही है, बिकॉज यार वो वायरलेस चार्जिंग में बहुत बड़ा हैसल होता है, एंड दूसरी चीज़ वो कभी भी आपका ख़राब हो जाए आपको कोई गारंटी नहीं। USB-C काफ़ी ज़्यादा रिलायबल, ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। पिन लॉक इनेबल्ड वाइज़र, ठीक है, तो वाइज़र आपका लॉक हो जाएगा अगर आप नीचे करके लॉक करते हो, ऊपर लॉक करते हो, ठीक है, एंड इमरजेंसी पुल आउट पैडिंग, ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ लगी। मान लो आपका मतलब आप मान लो किसी का क्रैश हो जाए, ठीक है, हेलमेट के साथ, तो बहुत सारे केसेस में क्या होता है कि वो आपके स्कल में ऐसा डैमेज हो जाता है, मतलब डैमेज तो नहीं होता मगर आपका से अटैच हो जाता है वो हेलमेट, तो अगर आप वो निकालना चाहोगे ना तो बहुत ज़्यादा इंजरी हो सकती है उसकी, मतलब इसीलिए एक्सीडेंट में सबसे पहले, अगर आप ये वीडियो कोई देख रहे हैं ना, तो अगर आपका कभी एक्सीडेंट हो, किसी का अपना एक्सीडेंट होते हुए देखा, तो उसका हेलमेट उतारने की कोशिश कभी नहीं करनी चाहिए सबसे पहले, ठीक है, वो सारा मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल्स का काम है सबसे पहले। तो इसी की वजह से इसमें प्रोटेक्शन का काफ़ी अच्छा लगा मुझे कि अब इन्होंने डिटेल में तो नहीं बताया, बट आई गेस मुझे ये लगता है कि जो अंदर का शेल है ना वो वहीं रहेगा, बस ये जो बाहर का जो डैमेज पार्ट है वो हटा सकते हो, तो जिससे इंजरी के चांस बहुत कम हो जाएंगे। काफ़ी अच्छी फोकस करती है ये कंपनी सेफ्टी के मामले में, तो इसमें मैं शाउट आउट दूंगा काफ़ी ज़्यादा, ठीक है। इसके बाद इन्होंने EL प्लेटफॉर्म लॉन्च किया, ठीक है, अनाउंस किया, ठीक है। फिक्स फ्रेम सेम होगा 450 की तरह, मुझे लगा यार कुछ नया डेवलप करेंगे, तो इन्होंने जिस तरह से इंट्रोड्यूस किया ना, थोड़ा थोड़ा स्ट्रेच करते गए 450 के मतलब प्लेटफॉर्म को, रिश्ता का जो भी प्लेटफॉर्म है एक तरह से दोनों का, इसको फिर बिल्कुल नया प्लेटफॉर्म तो नहीं बट इसी का अपग्रेड कह सकते हो, ठीक है, मतलब 95% सेम इसी से उठाया सब कुछ उन्होंने, ठीक है, एंड पावर ट्रेन और इलेक्ट्रिकल आर्किटेक्चर भी बिल्कुल सेम था, ठीक है। अब इसमें इन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ बताई कि ये फिलहाल 3 कंसेप्ट्स पे वर्क कर रहे हैं, तो 3 कंसेप्ट्स ला सकते हैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे, लेकिन काफ़ी स्केलेबल है। सबसे पहले मैक्सी स्कूटर का इन्होंने बताया था, जो कि लंबा कर सकते हो, तो पीछे से इन्होंने इसको खींच दिया, एंड दोनों व्हील्स, ऑल्दो मुझे सामने का व्हील ही दिखा था, बट आई थिंक दोनों ही व्हील्स होंगे मैक्सी स्कूटर में 12 की जगह 14 इंच के हो जाएंगे, एंड इसके साथ साथ मैक्सिमम जो बैटरी कैपेसिटी होगी इस प्लेटफॉर्म की 5 किलोवाट आवर की होगी, ठीक है। अब LFP बैटरी भी एक लाने वाले हैं, तो इस बार इन्होंने अनाउंस नहीं किया, मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था LFP के बारे में भी कुछ अनाउंसमेंट होगी, बट आई गेस वो नेक्स्ट ईयर जनवरी में ही होगी, है ना, जब उनकी नई फैक्ट्री आएगी, जिसके बारे में आगे बात करूँगा। इसका सेकंड स्कूटर इन्होंने बताया स्मॉल स्कूटर टाइप होगा, जिसका फ्रेम डाउन होगा, मतलब कॉम्पैक्ट हो जाएगा, जो फ्रेम पीछे से लंबा हुआ था ना वो छोटा हो जाएगा, व्हील साइज़ भी छोटे हो जाएंगे। इसी के साथ साथ बैटरी भी जो है लोएस्ट बैटरी उस प्लेटफॉर्म में जो लग सकती है 2 किलोवाट आवर की है, ठीक है। इसी के साथ साथ एक और कम्यूटर स्कूटर, जो कि मेरे हिसाब से मेजॉरिटी सेलर और मेजॉरिटी काफ़ी पसंद आएगा लोगों को, एंड इसका कंसेप्ट भी दिखाया था उन्होंने, अपने लाइव स्ट्रीम नहीं देखी तो पीछे करके देख लेना, काफ़ी कमाल का मुझे लगा, उसका भी टेक दूंगा अभी आके। तो उसमें जो पीछे का फ्रेम है वो लंबा हो जाएगा मिनी स्कूटर से, ठीक है, मैक्सी जितना नहीं होगा, ठीक है। सस्पेंशन और लंबा हो जाएगा, फ्रंट व्हील 14 इंच का हो जाएगा, आई गेस यार बैक व्हील भी 14 इंच का देना चाहिए था, बट आई गेस थोड़ी सी हाइट बढ़ जाती है, बट यार जो देखने में ग्राउंड क्लियरेंस लगी ना मुझे रिश्ता से थोड़ी कम लगी, ठीक है। अब मैं आगे बात करूँगा इसकी, एंड इसके साथ साथ व्हील बेस भी लंबा हो जाएगा, काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। एंड जो सबसे क्रूशल जिस फीचर का मैं इंतज़ार कर रहा था, जो कि इन्होंने इस पॉइंट पे आके बोला, वो था ABS, एडवांस इलेक्ट्रिकल ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम इनका अलग से, जो कि ट्रैक्शन कंट्रोल का सेंसर, और जो मैंने आपको पहले के 3 सेंसर बताया था ट्रैक्शन कंट्रोल का, एक तो फिर मोटर को कंट्रोलर वाला, एंड इसी के साथ साथ जो ब्रेक वाला सेंसर है, उन सबका इनपुट लेके ABS का काम करेगा। तो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स में ABS इसी तरह से काम करता है, ट्रेडिशनल व्हीकल्स की तरह नहीं कर सकते, आपको मोटर के साथ भी सिंक करना पड़ता है, ठीक है, ब्रेकिंग को। एंड ADAS का सिस्टम मिल जाएगा, ठीक है, ऑटोमेटिक ड्राइवर असिस्टेंट सिस्टम। तो जब से अल्ट्रा वॉलेट लेके आया ना पिछली साल से अनाउंसमेंट में, उसके बाद हर कंपनी ने कर दिया है ऐसे। ये बेसिकली आगे पीछे आपके कैमरे होंगे तो आपका रोड देखेगा, ये मतलब स्कूटर जो भी है सेंस कर लेगा कि यहाँ पे व्हीकल्स हैं, किस तरह से चला सकते हो, अपने आप इमरजेंसी ब्रेकिंग भी करेगा अगर इसे करना हो। ज़्यादा डिटेल में बात नहीं करी बिकॉज एक्सपेक्टेड है 2026 में गवर्नमेंट मैंडेट कर देगी एटलीस्ट सिंगल चैनल ABS हर टू व्हीलर में जो इंडिया में बिक रहा है। तो उसके बाद मेरे हिसाब से जनवरी में ही ये लोग अनाउंस करेंगे सारी चीज़ों को, तो तब तक का वेट कर लेते हैं। ऐसे भी जनवरी आने वाली है, ठीक है, सितंबर स्टार्ट हो चुका है लगभग। ओके, एंड इसी के साथ ही गाइज जो नेक्स्ट इन्होंने बात करी जो कि मुझे थोड़ा ओला के साथ सिमिलर लगा, कि जो चार्जर जो पहले से बल्कि सा आता था ना, इनका चार्जर में ही जो बड़ा सा डब्बा सा होता था उसमें, एंड सेकेंडली जो इनका मोटर कंट्रोलर अंदर होता था उसको मर्ज कर रहे हैं। बिकॉज इन्होंने, अब मैंने इतना सोचा नहीं था इस बारे में, लेकिन जिस तरह से तरुण सर ने बताया ना अभी स्टेज पे, तो मैं समझ के उसके मुझे लगा हाँ यार ये तो बिल्कुल सही है। देखो चार्जर का वो जो ब्रिक होती थी वो बेसिकली क्या करती थी, आपका वॉल का आउटलेट का जो है AC पावर लेके DC में कन्वर्ट करती थी, ठीक है। एंड वो मोटर कंट्रोलर में जाता था, उसके बाद बैटरी में स्टोर होता था, एंड जब वो बैटरी से वापस मोटर में पावर जानी होती थी तो वो DC को वापस AC करता था। तो इन्होंने क्या किया, बिल्कुल सही कंसेप्ट है, मुझे भी अभी समझ में आया ना, मतलब समझ में तो क्या, मैंने सोचा नहीं था इस बारे में कि यार अपन जब चार्जिंग करते हैं तो स्कूटर का काम नहीं आता, तो जो हीट भी होगा ना कंट्रोलर, तो उससे तो कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ा, वो कूल हो जाएगा, ठीक है। वैसे भी इनका फ़ैन होता है, ठीक है, तो वो कूल हो जाएगा। एंड चलो हीट भी हो गया, चार्जर से निकालने के बाद हीटिंग रुक जाएगी, फिर अगर आप उसको राइड मोड पे लेके जाओगे चलाओगे तो वो अलग से अपना हीट होगा। तो यार दोनों चीज़ें एक साथ पैरेलल में तो चलेंगी नहीं, एक साथ हीट होने का तो कोई चांस ही नहीं है। तो ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ लगी मुझे, इन्होंने मर्ज कर दिया उसको, काफ़ी ईजी हो जाएगा, कॉस्ट भी कम हो जाएगी। एंड सबसे मेन एडवांटेज जो कि आपके और मेरे लिए बहुत ज़्यादा काम का होने वाला है, वो जो बड़ी सी ईट टाइप की चीज़ होती है ना हमेशा चार्जर के साथ, जो अपने को ले जाने नहीं देती चार्जर को, सीट घेर लेती है। एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली वो डर भी होता है कि चोरी ना हो जाए, फिर ख़राब ना हो जाए गड्ढों में, ठीक है, वो अंडर सीट रखे हुए। तो सबसे बेस्ट चीज़ इसमें ये होगी कि आपके पास कुछ नहीं होगा, बस एक आपका प्लग मिलेगा, एक लंबा सा तार मिलेगा, और एंड में दूसरा प्लग मिलेगा जो आप स्कूटर में लगा सको, दैट्स इट। बाकी जो सारा AC to DC कन्वर्जन है वो सब स्कूटर अपने आप ही कर लेगा, इसी के अंदर इंटीग्रेटेड है, ठीक है, जो इसका मोटर कंट्रोलर यूनिट है उसमें। तो ये सबसे बेस्ट प्लस पॉइंट लगा मुझे, काफ़ी कमाल का काम किया एथर ने इस मामले में, तो कूडोस है। मतलब एथर मुझे काफ़ी ज़्यादा पसंद है, मतलब जो मेरा नेक्स्ट स्कूटर होने वाला, आई गेस एथर ही होने वाला है, क्योंकि मैं इसी का वेट कर रहा था। ऑल्दो अगले साल तक और इन्होंने वेट करा दिया, बट करूँगा। लेकिन जिस तरह से इनोवेट करते हैं ना एंड प्रोडक्ट डिलीवर करते हैं एक्चुअल में, और इनके ज़्यादा कुछ कंप्लेंट्स भी नहीं देखी मैंने पर्सनली, तो इस हिसाब से काफ़ी अच्छा लगता है मुझे, ठीक है। एंड इसके बाद जो मेजर अनाउंसमेंट्स करी, मतलब फ्यूचर के लिए कह सकते हो उसे, एथर फैक्ट्री 3.0 आने वाली है, ठीक है, छत्रपति शिवाजी नगर में। एंड इसी के साथ साथ उसका EL प्लेटफॉर्म वहीं पे मैन्युफैक्चर होगा, ठीक है। तो आप मान सकते हो नेक्स्ट ईयर के, मतलब आप मान सकते हो 15 अगस्त, मतलब अगले अगस्त 2026 के बाद से ही EL प्लेटफॉर्म का कोई भी व्हीकल आपको मिलेगा, उससे पहले एक्सपेक्ट मत करना। तो एटलीस्ट एक साल तो पूरा है जब तक आपको एथर का कोई भी रिफ्रेश होता हुआ लाइनअप नहीं मिलेगा, ठीक है। उसके बारे में आगे बात करूँगा। एंड इसका जो EL प्लेटफॉर्म के इन्होंने गेम्स वगैरह बताया कि आपको हमेशा भी यूजुअली 5000 किलोमीटर पे सर्विस का इनका वो रहता है, तो डबल कर देंगे उसको, एटलीस्ट 10,000 पे कर देंगे, बिकॉज व्हीकल काफ़ी एफिशिएंट, काफ़ी अच्छा हो जाएगा, सर्विसिंग की कम रिक्वायरमेंट पड़ेगी, काफ़ी सेफ चलेगा, ठीक है। एंड 2 गुना ज़्यादा फास्टर सर्विस हो जाएगी, वो EL प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बात करी इन्होंने, ठीक है। देन इसके बाद इन्होंने EL01 का कंसेप्ट दिखाया, जो कि कम्यूटर कैटेगरी में आता है, मतलब अपनी एक्टिवा की रेंज में, ठीक है, जुपिटर एक्टिवा इन सब में, जो भी रिश्ता भी चल रहा है उसमें कह सकते हो। बट आई गेस रिश्ता से थोड़ा सा प्रीमियम में आएगा वो, बिकॉज डिज़ाइन मुझे रिश्ता से काफ़ी अच्छा लगा उसका, और देखना पड़ेगा। एक और चीज़ मैंने EL प्लेटफॉर्म में नोटिस करी ना यार, कि यार बेल्ट ड्राइव कहीं नहीं दिखी मुझे। अब मुझे लग रहा है हब माउंटेड है, वो जो दूसरे टाइप की मोटर आती है वो यूज़ करेंगे, बट यार आई डोंट थिंक वो कुछ अच्छा होने वाला है। आई गेस यार रेंडर में इतना क्लियर नहीं था, अभी देखना होगा, बट आई थिंक यार वो अगर हब माउंटेड मोटर हुई ना तो आई थिंक थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा मुझे रेकमेंड करना। बट जिस हिसाब से कंसेप्ट को देख के लगा था काफ़ी अच्छा था, बट आई होप ऐसा ना हो। बट हुआ भी तो काफ़ी टेस्टिंग करके काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ ही करेंगे, बाकी मैन्युफैक्चरर्स की तरह नहीं करेंगे, ये मुझे ट्रस्ट है इस ब्रांड पे, ठीक है। ओके, तो मैं क्या कह रहा था, हाँ, तो मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा डिज़ाइन लगा उस नए स्कूटर का, EL01 कंसेप्ट का, ठीक है। बिल्कुल वाइट कलर का स्कूटर था, ग्रीन ग्रीन बीच में टेंट्स थे, जो सीट का पार्ट था वो लाइट ग्रीन था, मतलब काफ़ी कमाल का है ना। एंड इसी के साथ साथ बिल्कुल जो मेरे को सिमिलरिटी लगी ना, रिश्ता तो था उसमें, रिश्ता का तो DNA है पूरा। पीछे से मुझे एक्टिवा और जुपिटर की याद दिला रहा था, आगे से रिश्ता की, और एक्टिवा 125 का जो हेडलैम्प होता है उस तरह की डिज़ाइन का लुक दे रहा था वो, ठीक है। तो बिल्कुल मिक्स बैग स्कूटर था। रिश्ता देखो बिल्कुल यूनिक अलग सा लगता है, ठीक है। ऑल तो थोड़ा सा आई क्यूब का लगता है, वो फ्रंट वाला डिज़ाइन है ना, ये देखो आप हेडलाइट वाला, बट इसके अलावा मुझे काफ़ी यूनिक लगता था स्कूटर, ठीक है। बट ये जो नया आया है वो थोड़ा सा कह सकते हो कॉपीड है ब्रांड से, बट अब हो सकता है ये टेक बहुत सारे लोगों को पसंद ना आए, बट अब बिकॉज मैंने शुरू से ही इस तरह के स्कूटर्स देखे ना अपन ने, तो फिमिलैरिटी और काफ़ी पसंद आ गया। मतलब पहली झलक में मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा लग गया स्कूटर। तो अगर हुआ सारी चीज़ें अलाइन कर जाती है सही से, और बीच में कोई अलग से 450 का सक्सेसर मॉडल नहीं आता, तो आई गेस मेरा नेक्स्ट स्कूटर वही होने वाला है। तो उस पर स्टे ट्यून्ड रहना, जैसे भी जो अपडेट्स होंगी मैं आपको देता रहूँगा। लेकिन काफ़ी अच्छा स्कूटर लगा, ठीक है। वो लाइव स्ट्रीम पीछे करके आप लोग देख सकते हो उसमें, ठीक है। एंड इसका बाद लास्टली प्रोजेक्ट रेडक्स के बारे में बात करी, रिडक्स जो भी कह सकते हो आप इसको, ठीक है। बिल्कुल जैसे अल्ट्रा वायलेट का टेजरैक्ट स्कूटर था ना, स्कूटर क्या बोलेंगे उसे, मैक्सी स्कूटर भी नहीं बोल सकते, कुछ अलग ही चीज़ है ये, ठीक है। तो उस तरह का सेम बिल्कुल डिज़ाइन था। इसमें आपको बॉडी और सीट मटेरियल्स नए मिलेंगे, ठीक है। मैं मटेरियल्स के नाम तो भूल गया, लेकिन बिल्कुल अलग काम किया है इन्होंने, ठीक है। कार्बन फाइबर टाइप दिख रही थी मुझे बॉडी, बट पता नहीं क्या था। इसमें काफ़ी कमाल का फ्यूचरिस्टिक विजन रखा है। ऑल्दो आप 1 2 3 साल तक एक्सपेक्ट मत करना स्कूटर आ जाएगा अल्ट्रा वायलेट का, आई गेस इस साल के एंड से डिलीवरी स्टार्ट होंगी। बट इसमें बहुत ही कमाल की चीज़ें दी है एथर ने। दिए कहना थोड़ा सा गलत वर्ड हो सकता है, बट कंसेप्ट है, मतलब इन्होंने इमेजिन किया है। और एक चीज़ बहुत शॉकिंग थी यार, ये जो दोनों, चलो EL0101 तो ठीक है लिया है, बट ये जो प्रोजेक्ट रिडक्स का जो स्कूटर, मैक्सी स्कूटर कुछ भी कह सकते हो, इस व्हीकल को ये स्टेज पे लेके आया चलाते हुए, ठीक है। सारे पार्ट्स काम करे थे लगभग इसके, तो ये बहुत शॉकिंग था मेरे लिए। इसमें एक चीज़ उन्होंने बताई कि अगर आप स्कूटर के पास जाओगे, आपको चाबी की ज़रूरत नहीं, किसी भी तरह की चीज़ की ज़रूरत नहीं, आपको रिकॉग्नाइज करके अनलॉक हो जाएगा ये काफ़ी कमाल की चीज़ है। आज तक किसी व्हीकल में ऐसा नहीं देखा, तो लेट्स सी इधर किस तरह से पुल ऑफ करता है ऐसे, ठीक है। ये अगर और एक और काफ़ी कमाल की चीज़, वो दिखने में काफ़ी कॉम्पैक्ट लगता है ये, बट जब इसको बैठ के चलाओगे और लीन हो जाओगे, मतलब आगे की तरफ झुक जाओगे, और आप समझ रहे हो ना स्पोर्ट्स वाली राइडिंग पोजीशन में, स्पीड वाली, तो उसमें अपने आप ही स्कूटर भी थोड़ा सा पीछे हो जाएगा, मतलब हल्का सा लंबा हो जाएगा, एंड आगे से थोड़ा सा नीचे की तरफ दब जाएगा। मतलब आप लाइव स्ट्रीम पीछे करके देख सकते हो, काफ़ी कमाल का। मतलब बिल्कुल पहली बार ही मैंने इस तरह का कोई डिज़ाइन देखा, तो यार एथर हेड्स ऑफ है अगर पुल ऑफ कर पाते हो, मतलब अगर इसको ला पाते हो ना, तो काफ़ी कमाल का हो जाएगा ये। इसी के साथ साथ इसमें एथरस्टैक वगैरह नहीं मिलेगा, मॉर्फिया बिल्कुल ही अलग प्रोडक्ट लाइन हो जाएगी, टॉप ऑफ द लाइन स्पोर्ट्स के अलग ही बिल्कुल कैटेगरी में, ठीक है। ये एक्सपेक्ट करना 3 लाख से नीचे स्कूटर नहीं आएगा गलती से भी, ठीक है। तो 3 4 5 लाख अब कितना भी जा सकता है, बट एक लिमिट तक ही रखेंगे तो उसमें होगा, ठीक है। मॉर्फियो आने वाला है इसके अंदर, एंड इसमें पता है काफ़ी कमाल की चीज़ एक और लगी मुझे। एक तो ये था कि आपको रिकॉग्नाइज कर लेगा, ठीक है, और ये अपने बॉडी शेप भी चेंज कर लेगा आपकी स्पीड के हिसाब से। एक जो काफ़ी कमाल की चीज़ लगी, जिससे मैं समझ गया कि इसको आने में थोड़ा सा टाइम है, इसमें जो स्क्रीन है ना, जब आप उस मोड में जाओगे, आगे की तरफ लीन करोगे, तो स्क्रीन भी जो ऐसे मुड़ के आपके सामने थी ना, वो स्क्रीन मुड़ के बिल्कुल फ्लैट हो जाएगी, एंड आपको सिर्फ स्पीड दिखेगी उसमें, ठीक है। तो ये काफ़ी कमाल की चीज़ है, बिकॉज मैं भी सोच रहा था यार, अगर इतनी बड़ी स्क्रीन सामने है, तो अगर आप लीन कर जाओगे, बिल्कुल स्कूटर से लेट के चिपक जाओगे, तो आपको सामने की रोड कैसे दिखेगी। बट वो इन्होंने एड्रेस कर दिया, स्क्रीन फोल्ड होके वापस बिल्कुल फ्लैट हो जाएगी, आप सामने देख सकते हो। बट वहाँ पे एक चीज़ समझ नहीं आई, ये तो बहुत बड़ा सिस्टम ख़राब होने का चांस है, बिकॉज आपको पता है फोल्डिंग फ़ोन्स में भी बहुत बड़े लोगों को ये दिक्कत रहती है। अगर स्कूटर में आ जाता है तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा चांस हो सकते हैं ड्यूरेबिलिटी के। बट लेट्स सी एथर फिगर आउट कर ही लेगा, और कुछ ना कुछ वारंटी स्कीम्स ले ही आएगा इसके लिए। और इसका जो थ्रॉटल वगैरह होने वाला है उसमें भी हैप्टिक होने वाला है, मतलब अगर आपके गड्ढे वगैरह आने वाले हैं, अगर आपका कुछ कर्व है, तो वो थ्रॉटल ही आपका मतलब हाथ में फील हो जाएगा, इस तरह से होने वाला है। वो किस तरह से काम करेगा, एथर काफ़ी अच्छे से पुल ऑफ करेगा, आई नो, बिकॉज वो जेस्चर्स वगैरह के साथ काफ़ी अच्छी तरीके से खेलते हैं, तो उस समय देखा जाएगा, लेकिन काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। एंड टेक ऑफ मोड, ये मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा लगा, जो कि मुझे लगता था यार पेट्रोल व्हीकल्स में, मतलब इन ICE व्हीकल्स में होना चाहिए था, बट इलेक्ट्रिक में भी काफ़ी अच्छा है। तो इसमें बेसिकली क्या है, आप मान लो ट्रैफिक लाइट में खड़े हो, ठीक है, और आप लोग अब नहीं, मतलब मुझे तो काफ़ी ऐसा रहता है कि मैं थोड़ा आगे ही रहूँ सबसे, ठीक है। मतलब रैशली ड्राइव की बात नहीं कर रहा, बिल्कुल नॉर्मल भी, बट आपको लगता है ना, अगर आपने पास परफॉर्मेंस स्कूटर है तो आपको यूज़ करना चाहिए उसका, तो उसमें काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। ऑल तो ये सारा कंसेप्ट है इमेजिनरी, आएगा ज़रूर एक पॉइंट पे, 2 3 4 5 साल भी लग सकते हैं, बट आएगा, ठीक है। तो ये मत एक्सपेक्ट करना कि नेक्स्ट ईयर लॉन्च हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं है, बहुत टाइम लगने वाला है। बट ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ मुझे ये लगी, आप ब्रेक दबा के रखो, ठीक है, आप थ्रॉटल खींच दो, ठीक है, तो रजिस्टर कर लेगा स्कूटर की इनको नेक्स्ट मोड पे जाना है, ठीक है। मैं आपको उसका मोड का नाम भी बताऊंगा जो कि है टेक ऑफ मोड, ठीक है। तो उसमें आप फुल एक्सीलेटर देके आप ब्रेक दबा के रखो एंड वहाँ पे आपके स्क्रीन पे एरो 2 लेफ्ट टू राइट जाएंगे, ठीक है, वो फुल हो जाएंगे, इसका मतलब फुल पावर पे आ चुका है। जैसे ही आप ब्रेक छोड़ोगे तो जो एडवांस उसने पावर जनरेट कर रखी थी ना वो एकदम से रिलीज़ करेगा। तो आपका जो 0 लाख थ्रॉटल होता है नॉर्मल अपनी 450 वगैरह सीरीज़ में, तो इसमें ये चीज़ होने वाली है। बेसिकली आई थिंक ये थोड़ा सा पावर को रिजर्व करके रखेंगे बैटरी से कि यार एकदम से पुश देना है स्कूटर को। एंड दूसरा चीज़ उन्होंने इस टाइप का कुछ बोला था कि मैकेनिकली रेडी रहेगी आपकी मोटर जैसे ही वो होगा। तो अब मैं तब डिटेल में नहीं जाऊँगा बिकॉज ये लोग भी नहीं गए थे, बट इतना समझ लो काफ़ी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस मिलने वाली है। बट ये सारा ही एक्सपेक्टेड है, ठीक है, काफ़ी सालों बाद आएगा, चलो देखते हैं। बट जो EL01 कंसेप्ट था वो काफ़ी कमाल का लगा मुझे। अब मैं थोड़ा बताऊँ इवेंट के बारे में, तो यार देखो सबसे पहले मुझे तो ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ मुझे इसमें ये थोड़ी सी लगी कि यार 450 वाले थोड़े से लेफ्ट आउट हो गए इसमें, बिकॉज आपको भी ऐसा लगा होगा जिन्होंने मेनली फोकस किया 450 एपेक्स यूज़र्स पे, ठीक है, जो भी इन्होंने कंट्रोल्स वगैरह जैसे ये क्रूज़ कंट्रोल वगैरह भी एपेक्स वालों को मिला। ऑल्दो इन्होंने बोला है फ्यूचर में आएगा ये 450 सीरीज़ में, आई थिंक बाय द एंड ऑफ दिस ईयर, बट इसकी वजह से मुझे लगता है सेल्स कम हो सकती है इनकी, ठीक है। एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली मुझे लगता है कि चलो इन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ें एड्रेस करी रिश्ता वालों के लिए, तो जी वालों के लिए, बट 450 वालों के लिए जो 450 या 450X वाले हैं ना थोड़े से लेफ्ट आउट फील कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, ये चीज़ है। बाकी 450 एपेक्स जिन्होंने ली उनका तो काफ़ी सही है, OTA से ये भी इनेबल हो जाएगा। अब ये था मेरा ओवरऑल टेक इसके बारे में। अब इवेंट के बारे में थोड़ा सा टेक दे देता हूँ। ईथर का इवेंट मुझे इसलिए अच्छा लगता है कि जो 2 फाउंडर्स हैं, सेकंड वाले थोड़े इंट्रोवर्ट टाइप के होंगे तो शायद इसलिए तब वो आते नहीं है, एंड में स्कूटर्स लेके आए थे थोड़े, ठीक है। स्वप्नील जैन नाम है शायद उनका, है ना, तरुण मेहता ने होस्ट किया था पूरा ऐसे। तो ये काफ़ी अच्छा लगता है कि वो खुद ही होस्ट करके खुद ही सारी चीज़ें करते हैं। ऑल द प्रिपरेशन बिल्कुल ओला जैसी तो नहीं कहूँगा, बट हाँ बहुत वर्क की ज़रूरत है कि यार स्लाइड्स अटक रही है बीच बीच में। और सबसे ख़राब वीडियो क्वालिटी 1080p में सारे कर रहे हैं यार। अब 2025 है, सारी चीज़ें हो चुकी है, एटलीस्ट 4K में इवेंट्स करने चाहिए इंडियन कंपनीज़ को, ठीक है, भले ही कोई भी हो, ठीक है। और 1080p आपकी स्ट्रीम है उसमें भी आप बहुत ज़्यादा लैग कर रहा है, मतलब लैग इन द सेंस कि सही नहीं है यार, मतलब एक ट्रांजिशन से दूसरी ट्रांजिशन में। ऑल दो ये ऑटोमोबाइल की बात नहीं, बट जस्ट फीडबैक है अगर एथर से कोई देखे कभी इसे, ठीक है। एंड में मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली बिट रेट काफ़ी कम थी, एटलीस्ट 50 Mbps की बिट रेट होनी चाहिए थी, ठीक है। एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली जो माइक की ऑडियो थी ना किसी की भी आ रही थी। अब ऐसे कोई इसमें कुछ शोकेस हो रहा है कि प्रोडक्ट इस तरह से, तो उसकी वीडियो चल रही है, उसकी ऑडियो भी माइक से आ रही है जो कि फाउंडर के मुंह पे लगा है या फिर किसी दूसरी जगह स्टेज पे लगा है जो कि स्पीकर्स की ऑडियो रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है। तो आप बहुत गंदी करे ऑडियो क्वालिटी थी। मतलब होस्ट की काफ़ी अच्छी थी फाउंडर की, ठीक है, जो स्पीच की, ऑल वो भी वायरलेसली ट्रांसमिट की थी तो इतनी क्रिस्प वगैरह नहीं थी, बट हाँ सुनने में लग रही थी। बट वो जो ऑडियो थी ना उसमें काफ़ी काम करना चाहिए, वीडियो क्वालिटी में काफ़ी इंप्रूवमेंट करना चाहिए। तो आई थिंक मेरा यही टेक था। एंड अब वेबसाइट पे देख लेते हैं कोई भी नई इन्फॉर्मेशन अपडेट करी है नहीं। मैं एक बार रिफ्रेश कर देता हूँ वेबसाइट को। एंड अगर मैं रिश्ता वाले पेज पे जाऊँ, मुझे पता है क्या लग रहा था, LFP बैटरी वगैरह इसके बारे में कुछ अपडेट देंगे कि क्या होने वाला है, क्या एग्जैक्ट स्टेटस है, बट इसका कोई भी अपडेट कुछ नहीं मिला। एंड ये कोई नया कलर आया क्योंकि मैंने नहीं देखा इसे अभी तक, ठीक है। इको मोड, ठीक है, ये पहले से था। एथरस्टैक 7 आ चुका है, ठीक है, पार्क सेफ वगैरह, वॉइस, और हाँ क्रिकेट सर्च भी था डैशबोर्ड में, बट मैं ना क्रिकेट देखता हूँ, खेलता बहुत तो उस तरह से पहनूँ, बट देखना मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है, ठीक है। पसंद इन द सेंस कि अलग ही चीज़ होती है, ठीक है, वो मैं इस चैनल पे बात नहीं कर सकता, ठीक है। तो ये तो चलो सारी चीज़ें हैं, मुझे बस ये देखना है जो टच स्क्रीन की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है ना वो इन्होंने दिखाई है या नहीं, और दिखाई है तो किस तरह से उसे प्रेजेंट किया है, ठीक है। मैं एक बार डाउन स्क्रॉल कर लेता हूँ। एंड जो ये गाइज मैंने कलर नहीं देखा था अभी तक, ठीक है, ये तो है, ये कलर नया है क्या मुझे नहीं पता। अगर आपको पता हो तो आप कमेंट्स में या लाइव चैट में ज़रूर बताना, ऑल्दो मैं पढ़ नहीं पाऊँगा अभी कुछ भी, है ना। ये तो चलो सारा पुराना ही पेज है। एंड टच स्क्रीन डिस्प्ले के बारे में कुछ दिखाया क्या इन्होंने? ऑल्दो यहाँ पे कुछ किसी भी तरह का दिखा नहीं रहा, ये DPU तो अलग डिस्प्ले था, TFT डिस्प्ले, यहाँ पे टच स्क्रीन आई थिंक ऐड नहीं किया है इन्होंने फ़िलहाल तक, बट आई गेस अपडेट कर देंगे। बट चलो काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है। एंड ये 8 ईयर्स 80,000 ये भी काफ़ी अच्छा लगता है मुझे एसर का, ठीक है, बाकी कंपनीज़ के कंपैरिजन में। जो उन्हें स्टार्टिंग में फ्री में दिए टेक्निकली सब्सक्रिप्शन, उसके बाद हटा लिए एकदम से, ठीक है। तो चलो यही चीज़ है। इसको जयपुर में लोकेशन कैसे पता। तो गाइज़ यही था आज एथर के इवेंट में। आई होप आपको मेरी लाइव स्ट्रीम पसंद आएगी। ऑल्दो 5-6 मिनट का स्टार्टिंग का कंटेंट थोड़ा सा रह गया, ठीक है, एंड ठीक है, वो मेरे पे सारी चीज़ें, ठीक है। एंड आपका क्या ओपिनियन है, आपका क्या टेक है, आपको 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦 प्लेटफॉर्म कैसा लगा, अच्छा लगा या नहीं। पीछे लाइव स्ट्रीम पीछे रिवाइंड करके आप देख सकते हो। मेरे हिसाब से काफ़ी अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है। हो सकता है जनवरी में ये जो मुझे एक और चीज़ लग रही थी, बाइक भी रिवील करेंगे, बिकॉज इंस्टाग्राम वगैरह के इनके टीज़र आपने देखे होंगे ना, तो बिल्कुल इस तरह से शाइन कर रहा था, बट वो वही प्रोडक्ट निकला, ठीक है। एंड आई होप नेक्स्ट ईयर जनवरी में बाइक का भी कुछ अनाउंसमेंट करेंगे, बिकॉज फैक्ट्री भी उस साल के बीच तक रेडी हो जाएगी। तो आई गेस आई थिंक जेनिथ प्लेटफॉर्म नाम था, ठीक है, उस बाइक के प्लेटफॉर्म का, तो उस पर भी वर्क होगा। एंड आई थिंक जनवरी के अंदर इसका भी अनाउंसमेंट हो जाएगा एंड टाइमलाइंस मिल जाएगी, और आई गेस प्री बुकिंग भी स्टार्ट हो जाएगी। ये जो 𝙎𝙤𝙤𝙦 प्लेटफॉर्म है उसके स्कूटर की, ठीक है, काफ़ी अच्छा लगा मुझे। एंड रिश्ता के कंपैरिजन में डिज़ाइन मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा लगा उसका, ठीक है, बिकॉज रिश्ता ठीक है, बट मुझे थोड़ा पुराना डिज़ाइन अच्छा लगता है। ये भी काफ़ी अच्छी लगती है, बट जब उसे देख लिया ना, तो ये थोड़ा सा लग रहा है कि थोड़ा सा डिज़ाइन चेंज हो सकता है। हाँ, मैं ये चाहूँगा कि रिश्ता से थोड़ा सा ऊपर प्राइस करे उससे, ठीक है, मतलब रिश्ता से प्रीमियम हो वो। एंड उसका जो दूसरा मॉडल है उससे नीचे भी कर सकते हो, ठीक है। इन्होंने बोला है वैसे 1 लाख के नीचे नहीं जाने वाले, तो काफ़ी सही चीज़ है, ठीक है, फ़िलहाल तो इस प्लेटफॉर्म तक तो, ठीक है। एंड आई थिंक क्या होता है जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा। नेक्स्ट ईयर ही मेरे हिसाब से स्कूटर बाय करने वाला हूँ मैं, ठीक है, ऑल्दो मैं इस साल ही कर लेता अगर सारी चीज़ें प्लान्ड हो जाती सही से, बट एथर वालों ने काफ़ी डिले कर दिया। जो चलो कोई बात नहीं गाइस। आई होप आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आएगी, पसंद आए तो लाइक करना, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना। मैं मिलता हूँ आपसे अगली वीडियो में, तब तक